Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Cardinellis. Today I'm joined in the studio by a super-de-duper cast here. We've got Brittany the Shadow, as well as via the Zoom machine, none other than Jacob Hansen and Jonah Barnes, the Ward Librarian. I think that's actually a super awesome title for you, my man. And, you know, we got a little bit of a meme review here. Conference just happened, and as soon as conference happens, you know what else happens? All of the awesome and funny super-de-duper memes just start coming out of the woodwork, and we're going to look at all the best of them. That was just a little teaser, you know, but we're going to look at all the best of them. But you know what? We're responsible individuals on this live stream, so we're going to do a little bit of work before play. We're going to talk a little bit about the gospel, a little bit about the messages, and the good word, the good news that has come from conference this go-around. So before we get started, any immediate thoughts, Brittany? Did you have anything immediate that came to mind, or should I just toss to Jonah and Jacob?
Yeah, Brittany, anything you'd like to share with the rest of the class?
No, I'm texting Jacob's wife right now.
Yeah.
I'll get back to the live stream.
Oh, is this like when you got caught passing notes in class? You know, that's funny. That's funny. All right, so here we go, guys. What did you guys think of conference? Hit us up. Tell us what's up.
Take it away, Jacob.
All right. So first of all, I was blown away. I think so. I'm just so everyone knows I'm
blown away.
I think I'm
blown away.
Yeah, no. By some of them, there were some really
this
good
ones. This wasn't
this
like
conference.
1978 conference, dog. My dad was in Detroit in 1978 when they reversed the priesthood ban, dog. He was blown away. All right. Half his congregation was blown away.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if blown away quite reached this threshold
It wasn't
yet.
General Conference 1978 blown away. But it was.
If this wasn't the family
good.
proclamation getting read from the pulpit, all right, dude?
Although it was reinforced pretty heavily.
Pretty hard. That's true.
Yeah. And that was actually, so I'm kind of I don't know, maybe I'm not fully celestial because of this, but I tend not to actually watch conference live. I usually wait until later. And then I watch the individual talks.
I am so disappointed in you.
I know.
I'm so disappointed in
Dog, okay, before we go farther, I do have to confess my sins. I struggle so badly with conference, bro. It is so hard. I work so hard during the week, and it's hard enough in sacrament meeting not to doze off.
Like, why does it have to be 2 days?
Let's not complain about conference.
No. First of all, Cardin, the solution is I have this for my kids. It's a solution for you.
Okay.
Conference bingo, man. You just get out conference bingo,
You know
and then
what?
you'll pay attention.
Conference bingo.
That brought up, remember the last, I don't know how many live streams ago, but when I was like cinnamon rolls, and you guys are all like, what is that? No one eats cinnamon rolls at conference.
Yeah.
Freaking in my daughter's general conference packet she got from primary, there was a maze of a cinnamon roll. Like, it's
Erica
a legit
made cinnamon
thing.
rolls.
See?
Homemade cinnamon rolls
I
Sunday
am not
morning.
Dude,
crazy.
this is
It was
so
fantastic.
straight up corny, man. Y'all be corny.
I don't
It's
think
Y'all
it's
be
awesome.
corny.
I do look
Yeah.
forward to the cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I see him everywhere now. Now I never thought that was a thing before, but now everybody I ask, everybody I talk to, they're like, yeah, cinnamon rolls.
It's a thing.
Yeah, everybody knows that's what you do.
I
You make
hate to
cinnamon rolls.
ask our audience to do this, but guys, can you please like the stream? Everybody that's coming in right now, even though we be corny right now talking about cinnamon rolls and all this Utah nonsense,
Not corny.
you know what I'm saying? We're asking you to like this stream, share it with your friends. If you haven't had a chance to earn your subscription yet, please make sure that we let this be the chance that we earn your subscription, because today we are going over all of the conference talks and some of the very best conference memes. But hey, we just got our first super chat. By the way, if you guys want us to read any of your comments, make sure you send us a super chat. It's how we actually pay for the studio, how we pay for the services. That's how we keep this train rolling.
I was going to tell everybody on the stream that for every like you give this channel, the LDS Church sends us $100.
Not true.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's
So we need all the likes we can get, guys.
it's a quid pro quo, as we learned from all of the secularists.
Quid pro lucre.
Quid pro lucre, yes. By the way, anybody that gives a super chat of $99 or more gets an indulgence from Ward Radio, which, as we know, being funded by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints directly, that's basically
They will honor
an
it. They will
indulgence.
honor our indulgences. Yes.
Dude, actually, as a fundraiser, wouldn't that be hilarious, dog? If we just straight up, if like something we sold in our gift shop was a straight up Ward Radio indulgence, like you are entitled to 1x, and that is a sure way to like we would be in the hot seat so fast, but it'd be pretty funny. You know what I'm saying? It would be pretty funny.
It would be funny up until the moment that someone actually walked into their bishop's office with it.
I went to a strip club because my board radio buddy told me I had an indulgence. You know what I'm saying? Could you imagine the bishop? Like he's looking at a card that says ward radio indulgence. Oh, that is too funny. This is hilarious.
I don't know. He might end up like Huntsman and go and sue the church and everybody else for taking their money.
But I paid for that indulgence. All right. So anyway, here we go. Guess who was our first super chat? And can you read it? Brittany the Shadow, keepress of the super chat.
I don't know. Are we allowed to read? Did Vice say that we can't read? I don't know. I'm joking. That was a bad joke.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay.
That was last stream's joke. Okay.
Stephen Diamond says, when you guys come out to the priesthood restoration site, my mom has offered to feed you her famous fried chicken. I'm down.
Whoa. Who's fried chicken? Who's making fried chicken?
Stephen Diamond's mom has famous fried chicken.
Oh, we're all over it.
Ask RMs from Philadelphia about it.
Oh, we're all over that.
Philly? Out in Philly?
Dude, I want some famous fried chicken.
Yeah,
that's kidding me?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Okay, so Jacob, tell us what you thought, why you thought that it was mind-blowing, this conference.
I didn't say mind-blowing. I said it blew me away.
Oh, blew you away. Okay, so why this conference blew you away?
So what I did was I went back and I watched a couple of talks after they were given, and one was Elder Bednar's and the other one was Elder Oaks, or President Oaks. And specifically, I think President Oaks' talk on the plan of salvation was the best talk ever given on that subject ever. If you want to learn more about the plan of salvation in 15 to 20 minutes than you're going to get anywhere else from an absolute authoritative voice. And what he did, a lot of people don't realize this, he went back and basically tied together decades worth of talks that he gave on that subject and intertwined them into one like new talk. And so it was almost like the culmination of all of these years of his sort of teachings and insights around the plan of salvation. And they're not really his, they're just, what our doctrine is. And then he just laid it out there and it was awesome. It was super good.
It was amazing. Yeah, I felt that too. I heard old talks that he'd given before, and like he was refining it and making kind of this masterpiece, putting pieces together. It was an excellent talk.
Dude, are you guys like gunning for the red chair or something? Like masterpiece. Blown
Dude, have you heard it? Did
like,
you hear that talk?
Geez, man, if there's
I'll tell you one thing else that it did is it sure put to bed anyone who kind of badmouths the family proclamation and our doctrine on the family and marriage.
Now
and
that is true.
Gender and all of that. I mean, but here's the thing. He didn't just put it to bed authoritatively. This was the cool thing about it. He explained why. He explained like how this all fits together and that there are just certain ways of being or certain laws that are required to be lived if you want to have a celestial exalted existence. And that requires the union of a male and a female in marriage. That is a requirement to attain the highest degree of glory. And then he also laid out this really, the idea of, our plan of salvation, the way it's laid out is just makes so much more sense than the traditional sort of heaven and hell. And he laid it out so well in this sort of, look, what we're doing in life is we are just choosing what sort of kingdom we want to have. Like, what sort of a life do you want to have? Now, God wants you to be with him, to have the highest and best kind of life that you can have. And so he's laid out laws saying, like, this is how you do it. But it's up to us to decide if we want to or not. And if we don't want to, then you don't. And you don't get the higher levels of glory. It's like you live below your privileges and you sell yourself short of what you could have been if you were willing to obey his laws. And the whole plan is to allow us to settle in to the kind of existence that we want and to become the kind of being that we want to be.
All right, dude, you dug it, man.
And so Oaks' talk was actually the subject of my family's little spiritual thought afterwards. We talked about that talk a little bit, where he says that the law that you live will turn you into a different type of person, and you will be in the kingdom where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
So that no one will say that it is unjust, that everyone in the end will say it is just. This is where I'm comfortable because this is the law that I'm comfortable living.
Now I'm starting to doubt myself because I like, here's the deal. I really liked, why was that so funny, babe?
So
now my
I was
wife's
thinking
like
the same thing. I was like, wonder what kingdom Card and I are going to be in.
yeah. Yeah. It's like, man. Well, no, I do remember when he said, okay, so Elder Oaks talk, I dug it, but I just remember kind of thinking like, okay, cool. This is good. It's pretty boilerplate. Yeah. This is the amalgamation of what we believe. This is said well. Okay, awesome. And I found myself kind of like nodding my head and being like, okay, that's cool. In the same way I did in 1995 when they read the Proclamation of the Family from the pulpit. Like, I just remember kind of thinking like, okay, well, I mean, isn't this kind of obvious for everybody? Maybe it's not. I just, wow.
I don't know. When you drop
revolutionary.
the word,
it wasn't until later. Hold on. It wasn't until later that I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys had foresight establishing this on paper. I'm so glad they did. You know, it wasn't a decade later until we realized, oh my gosh, man, this was great. So now I'm starting to doubt myself. As I said before, I'm like, man, am I going to be like super grateful this talk was made 15 years from now when like this is the core doctrine that's under attack, and we can all point back to that talk given in 2023 by Elder Oaks. I'm going to go back and watch it again and see what I missed. And then also come to a deep and abiding understanding why I've never come close to being called into church leadership, unlike Joda Barnes and Jacob Hansen, who have both served in bishoprics, and maybe this is why. So, babe, you're safe from endless amounts of service.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? Because I done not be spiritual, apparently. But these cats, they got it.
You're being self-deprecating again, and I hate it when you do that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Sorry, yeah. Brittany got mad at me. She said that I am too self-deprecating, which we're going to work on today.
Yeah.
So,
do you want me to read the super chat?
Oh, yes. I was going to say, keep us at the chats. We're going to try and keep up with the chats. If you want us to read something on stream, make sure you send it to us in a super chat, and we'll hit it up.
Okay, Braden Barty says, who was afraid M. Russell Ballard would start talking about Tim Ballard once he revealed that he wasn't going off teleprompter?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
A little bit, yeah. Uh-huh.
Were you legitimately worried?
Well, I
was just
like,
worried about everything. I was like, oh boy, this could get wild.
He's like, oh please, just don't do it. And he did. He did.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I have to confess, I had fallen asleep for that one. Yes, I had fallen asleep, and I have yet to go back and watch, because I know a lot of people said that it was kind of beautiful. A lot of people were concerned, is he saying his goodbyes? Because we know that, he's the second oldest of the Q15, I believe.
We have an old crew. I mean, like, I think 5 years from now, we're going to have like 5 or 6 new people in the Quorum of the 12.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting question, because, like, for example, I want to look this up right now. You know how they say, like, every year that you live past, I think 72, they say there's a 7% greater chance of dying or something like that. But, like, how old is he?
95, I think.
Who, Ballard? 95.
Yeah, okay. So what are your chances of dying within the next year if you are 95?
This is kind of morbid.
This is morbid, all right? But this is the Social Security. I'm showing you this. This is the U.S. government's Social Security actuarial table. All right, right here. I'm showing you. If you go to ssa.gov, okay, and it says actuarial life table, and it shows your exact age, and when you come to the bottom, it shows your probability of death. So at 1 year old, it's 0.005837, which is actually that includes obviously infant mortality, right? At 32.0002.
Wait, this is how.
This is your chance of death. Like, look, I'm literally going to just show this full screen. This is the Social Security site of the U.S. government, right?
Dang.
And when you come down,
wait, what number does it go up to?
Okay, at 119, you have a 97% chance of death that year. So
I would probably put that up to 100.
Yeah. So look, if you're straight up at 95, every year there's a 28% chance. At 96, it's 30. At 97, it's 33. All right. So you are playing a game of Russian roulette with only 3 bullets in the chamber every single birthday that you have at this brother's age. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these dudes have gone past Deer Hunter, 1970. What year was Deer Hunter? You know what I'm saying? Like this, what year was Deer Hunter made? What year was Deer Hunter made? These guys, 1978. All right. So these cats, like, there is no question these people are protected by God. Like at their age, you know what I'm saying? Because this cannot be explained by probability alone. All right. Anyway, dude, I love the things that happen on a live stream. We literally just pulled up the actuarial table of the U.S. government Social Security website and found out that the chances of mortality at that age are in the 30th percentile. That is hilarious. So anyway, okay.
So have you just FYI, have you ever seen the tables of like who is most likely to be prophet and for like how long and all that kind of stuff?
Dude, can you send that in the Discord?
No,
I'll pull that up.
Oh yeah. So there's a couple of them. I'll drop this one in here.
Bednar leads the pack. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, there's kind of 2 of them, and Bednar will likely be. The real question is we all kind of think that Oaks is going to make it, right? So Oaks is probably next on deck, but then after Oaks, it's sort of like Holland. I don't know. He's not in great health. Hopefully,
he's not sorry. After Oaks, yeah, go on.
Yeah, he's after Oaks.
Well, I just worry about a butter churn of a bunch of like Howard W. Hunters. You know
actually, no. We all say Oaks, but Ballard is after Oaks, right? In seniority.
Yeah, but the only thing I worry about is
I thought Ballard was next. It's Oaks that's next.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, Oaks is ahead of Ballard. So if you look at the second image that I dropped, it shows the seniority and then it shows their ages. And that one's probably the best one, I think, to look at. Because
why don't you look it up and toss it in the Discord while Jonah gives his thoughts on conference?
Yeah, go ahead.
We know
okay, well, I've got a lot here.
Okay, well, hit it, dog.
You need to go to the Discord, okay?
Okay.
Scroll up a little bit.
Hit it.
And we're going to do the General Conference Recap Awards here, people.
Okay.
Buckle up. All right, so the first award, you bring up the one that I'm talking about. So the first award is the Susan Boyle Award.
Is that with Elmo here?
No. I'm sorry. It's the next one down from there. You see Susan Boyle. There should be a little tile.
It's the Susan Boyle Award. Okay,
The Susan Boyle Award goes to the General Conference talk that should not be looked at. It should only be heard.
Okay. What is it?
Okay, the Susan Boyle Award is for a talk that when you read it, you'd miss it. You gotta listen to it.
Okay.
And the winner of the Susan Boyle Award this year, this conference, is M. Russell Ballard. His talk was the Susan Boyle Award winner.
Oh,
because
really?
if you listen to the tone of his talk,
agreed,
you're thinking, "Whoa!" It's just so sincere. He's just talking. He's not reading the teleprompter. There's no like central topic. It's just this like free flow testimony.
Okay.
And you're like, "Wow!" And I just think reading it later, you're not going to get it. You got to listen to that talk. It was so good. So that's the Susan Boyle Award winner.
And that's the straight to VHS award right there?
Okay, straight to VHS award, if you could bring that one up. Straight to VHS award.
Oh, that's a new one. Okay.
That's another award. This year's straight to VHS award, that is for talks that are the opposite of the Susan Boyle Award, that you listen to them and you go, what are we talking about now? But then when you read it later, you're like, oh, okay, all right, this is a pretty good talk.
Okay.
That goes to D. Todd Christofferson for his talk on I'm not actually
covenants. It was great.
That's maybe, or about Moroni, or about Abraham, or about Gathering of Israel. It was about
all of that
everything.
With covenants, all about it.
It was the Louisiana gumbo of conference talks. It was like, just throw everything in the sink together and we'll call it a talk. It was so much stuff. But I'm sure that reading it later, I'm going to be like, wow, this is awesome. But listening to it, I was like, where are we going? So he is the winner of the Straight to VHS award. Congratulations, D. Todd Christofferson.
Okay, and what award is this? Which one? Because I don't know if they came in the same order in the Discord as you intended them here. But which one has the Thug Life glasses on a certain white-haired individual?
So that's the winner of the award. First, you need to bring up the award itself. That's the Gangsta Award.
Oh, that's the Gangsta Award. Dude, did you make all of these, Jonah?
I made all of these for you, Cardinal.
Okay, here's the Gangsta Award.
The Gangsta Award goes to the general conference talk that kind of hits the mark a little hard. It hits the antis just a little in the kidneys. It's a little like, ooh, that was spicy. And it goes to, and now you can bring up the image of the winner with the shades on. It goes to Dieter F. Uchtdorf, winner of the Gangsta Award. Dieter F. Uchtdorf wins the Gangsta Award for his talk on the prodigal son, in which he says, if you remember this, he says, the prodigal son goes off and he spends all his inheritance and he spends all his money, and he is surely tweeting out and sharing on social media how happy he is, how he's hashtag living his best life.
Oh, yeah.
I did hear
that. Dude, like, I saw, okay, now I can bring up this meme. Because no joke, I've been recommended now this Instagram channel, and I should vet it. I mean, I should do more vetting instead of doing this live. But I got recommended this yesterday, and I just laughed. It's called Army of Gila Memes. And these guys have been prolific since conference. And one of the first ones, it was freaking hilarious. It shows this kid at a club, and he's like, wish I would have known about this hashtag earlier. And it's like, hashtag living my best life. And it's like, look at this right here. Prodigal son. This is so hilarious. Look at this meme right now. Should have done this a long time ago. Hashtag living my best life. And it's like a 14-year-old kid who somehow snuck into a club. Oh my gosh. It is should have done this hilarious.
Yeah, that's another thing he said. Oh, I should have done this a long time ago. Like, it's just so on the nose. It's the Gangsta Award. So congratulations, Dieter F. Uchtdorf, for the Gangsta Award. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude, I have to tell you, if you look up Dieter Uchtdorf's Instagram, this got introduced to me as well. And I got to tell you, here's his Instagram, all right? And it's cool. It's obviously going to be professionally curated, hopefully by somebody at the church that knows better. But if you look at the far right here, here's one of him reading his talk. I'm going to pull it up here in a second, and it says, I love General Conference because it provides an opportunity for members and friends of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints from all corners of the globe to come together to learn more about our Heavenly Father's plan for them. This includes my beloved German-speaking members and friends. I'm especially grateful for the opportunity to record the audio for my General Conference talk in German so that they may hear it in their native language. And it shows this video of him just playing. We'll play it for a second. Let's see.
Als ihm klar wurde, dass sein Sohn sich mehr als alles andere wünschte, die Familie zu verlassen.
Okay, now I do have to tell you, as somebody who has listened to Uchtdorf speak in German, I was actually visiting the German embassy, and I was also living off of Unter den Linden, which is the main street in Berlin for a time, while there was a production.
Oh, Unter den Linden, yeah, of course.
It's the main avenue that you actually, anybody from, it's like saying Rodeo Drive in LA. It's a well-known, it's like Mulholland Drive. It's just a well-known Park Avenue in Manhattan. Look, I live with ballers. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. And by ballers, I mean Brittany the Shadow. So a Mary Victoria's Secret model, you get sent all kinds of weird fashionable stuff. So anyway, what happens is I just have to tell you, it's like they were filming a production in Babelsberg Studios, which is where they filmed Metropolis and V for Vendetta and a couple of my other favorite movies. I was there, and Uchtdorf comes in on Sunday, and it was cool because usually I'm one of the translators into Spanish, and now I get the headphones and I get to listen to the missionaries translated from German into English. For me, it was kind of a cool experience. And then Uchtdorf walks in, and he has a chance to give a talk to the local stake there in Berlin. And I have to say, man, Hollywood has not done favors to this accent.
Bittet sein Erbteil. Und zwar sofort.
Just like I got, you know, they just like it's still. It was weird. It was weird. It was weird playing Wolfenstein 3D and then going to church and hearing like the exact same accent. You know, just like wow. Maybe 50 years removed from this. You know, I'll be able to listen
it'll
to
land
this.
a little softer.
Yeah, and I also bumped into him in Burbank Airport, too. You know you're in the right spot at the right time if you're bumping into apostles. So what can I say? I just rub shoulders with the elites of the world.
It's because you're on unten den Lingenheimen schreiben.
Yeah. So anyway, keepers of the chats. Yeah. Brittany,
Yeah.
keepers of the chats. Hit it.
Okay, hold on.
Jacob Mayberry.
Jacob Mayberry
yes.
says, do y'all think Bishop Waddell's talk on hero worship was a low-key rebuke of Tim Ballard worshipers?
Dude, I kind of wondered if that was already pre-approved. You know,
low key. That was like the most obvious thing ever.
Well, dude, so well, I was wondering, like,
how far in advance do they make their talks?
Yeah.
Well, apparently that one about a week.
Yeah.
No, I totally disagree. Actually, I thought that was a slap at Donald Trump.
Oh.
Really?
Well, Jonah.
I think.
Or maybe
I
it was a
don't
good
know.
principle that has universal application. Like we have said for a long time on this channel, that it's very easy to develop a false hero worship can become a false idol. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
anyway, hit it. What do you think?
Jonah, Brandy Harkins agrees with you. Brandy, I'm assuming you're a girl. She says, answer to Jacob Mayberry, I was thinking it might be about Trump.
Oh
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that's the vibe that I got, that it was about.
Did Mitt Romney force them to make that church
Clearly.
talk too?
Clearly,
no, I'm just kidding.
Romney.
Savage, we
that
cannot
rumor.
verify that. That's a joke. It's a rib.
Start
Come
that
on.
rumor.
You know.
Hold up. I would say this though. If I'm going to be the most charitable that I can be, I think that they're teaching a principle. And just because that principle may have applications to very specific things that have gone on, there's nothing wrong with that principle. It was a great talk in that sense. Like people do get wrapped around heroes, and then, you know, they get led astray because of it. So I think while we can all guess at who it was aimed at, I think that that's secondary to the principle that was being taught. Just like the racism talk that was given, by Elder Suarez. That it's like, okay, is that aimed? Like all the, certain groups will be like, oh, that's, he's on the side of, the woke people or whatever. And it's like, no, he's teaching a principle that's a true principle. And every word that came out of that talk was true. Right. And so now there is a question as to why are they teaching certain principles at certain times? That is, I think, a legit question. But, if you listen to that talk on hero worship, if anyone's getting offended by it, it's like, just listen to what he's saying. He's not saying anything that's untrue.
Okay.
And,
well, you know what? Coming from surfer, guitarist, hunter, trapper, philosopher, business owner, Jacob Hansen, that's a heck of a thing to say against hero worship. Okay?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you don't like hero worship. All of a sudden, Jacob Hansen says, please, I'm mortal, just like the rest of you.
That's
Jonah,
funny.
Jonah,
Look,
I have a picture
okay?
of you in my bedroom, like
Oh.
right
Whoa,
next to
yeah.
the Quorum of the
I
12.
love where this is going.
Jacob, please.
Okay, I'm texting
Please.
Erica again.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny. So here's my question right here is, oh shoot, did it just go somewhere? Oh no, I just got rid of it. Ah, here it is. Okay, that scared me there for a second. So we all would recognize Bishop Waddell, all right, from his stirring performance on 60 Minutes.
Mhm.
Do you think he was getting a little reward, huh? For having gone out there and fought the good fight with the American media? You know what I'm saying? What do you think that was pre-planned, or was a pat on the back? Like, yeah, we'll let all your kids and your grandkids see you in conference now because you went out there and you stuck it to 60 Minutes. You know, what do you think?
He was
man?
awesome. I thought Waddell did great. He was in the
I thought he did well,
Report
too.
He was great. He did a great job.
Yeah, good talk. Very good talk.
Yeah.
So there's a couple more awards.
Yeah,
for us
let's
to
hit
get
'em.
to. I know the audience is dying to hear the awards this year because
Yes.
this is bigger than the Academy. This is bigger than.
So we did the Gangster Award already.
The Gangsta Award. Next up is the Merch Maker Award. If you could bring up the Merch Maker Award.
Merch Maker Award. Okay.
The Merch Maker Award goes to the General Conference talk that is most likely to generate a bunch of merch.
Oh, kind of like
bumper
Ponderize
stickers.
before they put the kibosh on that one. Okay,
Exactly.
all
So
right.
it's the one that's going to generate the most merch. And the Merch Maker Award very clearly goes to our own president and prophet, Russell M. Nelson,
All
for his talk
right.
on Think Celestial.
Baboom.
Think Celestial.
Get him
You
bigger.
watch for people. It's going to be on bumper stickers coming up.
Well, dude, that's already the main part of these memes. Look, I'm going to go back to this one, the Army of Gila memes. Okay, it was freaking hilarious. Here it is. This was the first meme that I saw literally within hours of conference. All right. It shows up one day ago. All right. Look at this. When you stub your toe, but you're trying to think celestial. And like, there's like, that one wasn't even the most savage one. You know what I'm saying? This one was pretty savage. I thought it was funny. It was the very typical Scooby-Doo where he's taking the mask off of the person. It says white French professor, member of the 70, and they take his mask off and it said child of God. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty funny. I think that was probably like an anti-woke meme. I'll still have to dive into that one. But yeah, that was pretty freaking hilarious. Like, think celestial. So, you know, as soon as Tender Mercies came out, it completely renovated the nomenclature of half the Relief Society. How many talks now are we gonna have to, I don't know if we say enjoy or endure, in which people say, you know, I just decided to think celestial. You know, wow, dude,
Yep.
that one's
My wife,
funny.
my wife was super bothered because think celestial is actually grammatically incorrect. It should be think celestially.
Hmm.
So she was dying. She was
Oh,
dying.
That's
Ooh.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Did you
He
just
was-
contradict the prophet?
She, well, I know.
Ballsy.
She's-
Dude, that one's brutal. That
Heresy.
one's brutal.
Okay, so we have one more
Yeah, let's
award
hit
to
it.
get
What is it?
to,
What is
and
it?
this is the coveted award. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Onion Chopper Award, the Onion Chopper Award, much coveted General Conference Award here at the Ward Radio Awards, the Ward Awards.
Okay, the Onion
The
Chopper
Onion-
Award. I got it up there. Okay.
The Onion Chopper Award goes to a now double winner this conference, Dieter F. Uchtdorf, for his talk on the Prodigal Son. Is not only the Gangsta Award,
Really?
but also the Onion Chopper Award goes to Dieter F. Uchtdorf.
Hmm.
I have to oppose.
Really?
You would. Oh, you would.
This is getting good.
Oh, it's going down. Well,
All right.
first off,
All right.
why do you think that Dieter Uchtdorf's talk is the Onion Chopper Award?
It's not why do I think, it's why is it the truth. Okay.
Okay. Why
I
is it?
care about the truth. And the truth is, so Dieter F. Uchtdorf gave a like a recap of the Prodigal Son. He talked about the Prodigal Son, which just by itself is a very moving story, and he added little bits, not too much. He didn't embellish too much. He just gave you a little context. Imagine what that father thought when he saw a figure down the road walking. He didn't even let him finish his sentence. He runs and hugs his son and kisses him on his neck and puts a ring on his finger. And it was like, oh, if you had a date and you were watching General Conference with that date, you were doing a little of this. You were doing a little.
I'm
good,
because
I'm
it was
good.
the Onion Chopper talk. It was
Your dates were
fantastic.
different than mine. I didn't take my dates to conference, dog. But like, yeah.
All right, Jacob, let's hear your objection, Jacob Hansen.
So I will give credit. It was a great talk. It was one of those ones that touches your heart. However, I think the one
You
that
don't have a
most
heart.
hit-
You have a heart of stone. That's what it is.
the one that most hit me was actually Elder Bednar's. And here's one of the reasons why. We all know Elder Uchtdorf's going to lay on the love. You know what I mean? Like if you need a big warm hug, like Elder Uchtdorf's going to give it to you. Elder Bednar isn't known to
Yeah,
give
if
you
you
the
need
hug.
a big warm donation to the Democrat Party, both against
my gosh.
Raphael Baby Ender Warnock. Yeah, that's it. You also call up Dita, So anyway,
we also believe in this principle called forgiveness. And
okay,
so-
cool. Yeah. All right, I'm
we-
working on that one. Maybe I got to get around to chopping some more
Carden,
onions. All right,
Carden, you need to think celestial.
Oh, that's
exactly.
true.
Snap.
Oh!
Oh, burn.
Wow. Wow, live, people. You witnessed that SmackDown live.
Yeah, dude.
So Elder Bednar, though, here was his thing. First of all, Elder Bednar isn't the teddy bear, usually. And his talk that he gave, where he kind of hit on sort of the ordinary member of the church. And I couldn't help but be touched because the people he was talking about are people I know.
Yes, he paid homage to the people that are just in the trenches that usually do not get respect, admiration, or attention.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's so many of those people that I know. And literally I was thinking about them during the talk. And it was like, I just was like, man, like, you're right. Like, God bless all the ordinary members of the church who don't have, a following or anything like that. But you're the ones who are in there day in and day out, doing your calling, loving people. And he just, the way he put it and the way he equated it to the pioneers. And it was just, it really was, I don't know what it was. That one hit me because, again, The Prodigal Son's a great story. Love it. Great talk. But this one I felt like just hit close to home because I know those people. You know what I mean?
It felt really sincere. Like Bednar was just like, it wasn't a great like doctrinal dissertation. It wasn't a great exegesis of any script. He was just like, he just really wanted to be like, man, thank you guys for doing this, and just kind of poured it out. It didn't seem real scripted. It didn't seem real formal. It was very, very heartfelt. It was pretty good. It was very, very good.
All right, dude. Okay, so you just feel that he kind of he was batting out of his usual league, is what you're saying. He was, wow. Okay, I do gotta say, one of the number one things that I learned in documentary filmmaking is the importance of venerating the everyday, which I thought was actually pretty cool. So anyway, you got some other awards here, bro. You got some other awards. There was the Juggernaut.
Oh, yes. I forgot about the Juggernaut Award. Yes, the Juggernaut Award, ladies and gentlemen. Juggernaut Award goes to the talk that is the slow burn talk that then just clobbers you and there's no stopping it. That's the Juggernaut Award. Yep. It's the one that if you fall asleep for a minute or a second or anything, you're going to miss it. Yeah. But if you stick with it, it's going to bowl you over. And the Juggernaut Award goes to Dallin H. Oaks.
Boom!
Dallin H. Oaks for his
agreed. Well done. Well
total
played.
Inexorable, just this slow build, just like a Supreme Court justice. He just builds these tiny little, just builds it until the very end.
So you've stumbled upon an internet meme here that also generally has a slogan attached to it. Could you repeat that slogan? Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut. We won't say the rest of that, But okay, the Juggernaut Award goes to. These are some pretty killer Photoshop skills, bro.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
restreaming. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we should be.
And Jacob,
back
I don't have a picture of you. I have a plushie.
He said, "Oh no." Okay, there we go.
It's called Thoughtful Snuggle.
We're back. Sorry, I don't know what happened. OBS crashed there for a second, and it has been unreliable as of late. So shame on them. We're back here with Jacob Hansen and Jonah Barnes talking about the Juggernaut Award. All right.
Excuse me.
Oh, and yes.
And Brittany the Shadow. Don't leave her out.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Boo on me. Sorry, I was juggling a lot of balls here at once. So yes, I'm gonna get clipped. I'm gonna get clipped.
I can leave.
Say it like
oh boy.
You're a savage. Well, Jacob's gonna have to leave too because I'd only do that with Jonah. So
wow. We're going back to Midnight Mormons.
Yeah, boom.
Down low.
People are gonna get angry.
Okay, so there's one other picture that I put in the Discord. This is a tradition that we're doing in the Barnes family here. It's a tent. Can you see the tent? I'm in my pajamas.
Okay, so
ladies,
that picture. Yeah. Let me look up that picture. That one. I'm gonna.
Ladies,
show that to
I'm
the
married,
audience.
please. But I'm in my pajamas.
Yeah, look
watching
at you.
conference on the floor in my totally messy house.
Yeah. So what is up with this one? Here it is. I'm gonna pull it up right now so the whole audience can see it. Give me 2 seconds. There is Jonah Barnes and family.
Mm-hmm.
Just
some of my little fam you can see there.
Boom. With a tent. You set up a tent in your living room?
We set up a tent to honor the people who were listening to King Benjamin.
I was gonna say, is that like
towards the
Lamona?
temple?
That's right. We point our tent towards the. So there's a little. You can see a little projector that's on that chair right in front of me, and it's projecting on the wall.
Oh, I see.
'Cause we don't have it. We don't own a TV, so if we ever want to watch it, we have to do projector. So we project it on the wall.
You don't own a TV, dog?
We don't own a TV.
How dare you not have an altar to Baal inside of your own living room? You know,
we have
actually,
no television.
you know what's kind of funny is I have thought about this in American culture. That oftentimes, like, you know, we always think that, well, we're peak civilization, right? But, you know, when I go to my friend's house, people joke that if, you know, you visit one of your Mexican buddies, there's going to be this cool statue of the Virgin Maria in the little alcove by the front door. If you go visit, you know, some of your Southeast Asian buddies, the Laotians or the Vietnamese or the Thai families, they'll have like the family altar there, where sometimes they'll even leave out food for the, you know, the ancestors and so on and so forth. And, you know, oh, well, that you know, all these different things are supposed paganism, and we're, you know, elevated beyond this. Well, every single house I go into has an entertainment center that I think is mislabeled. It should just be an altar to television. You know what I'm saying? Like the average American household has the most pagan of all altars. And it's literally, we will reorient our furniture. Oh, what happened? I lost my logo here. We will reorient all of our furniture inside of a house, and we will literally just completely plan our living rooms. The very furniture we are about to sit on around what? This god, this false god of cobalt and silicone that we call the television set. So
I heard somebody say that the Sabbath now belongs to the NFL.
No.
I thought
Taylor Swift.
That's sad, but totally true.
Now Taylor Swift.
Isn't it crazy how Taylor Swift is putting this guy on the map? Like, babe, tell him all about it.
Right. Well, that should be for another live stream. But
No.
yeah, there's these TikToks of all these women talking to their husbands or their boyfriends and being like, it's so nice of Taylor Swift. She finally put Travis Kelce on the map. That's going to be so good for his career. Like, no one's ever heard of him. And the men are getting so angry. They're like, Travis Kelce is the greatest tight end in the NFL of history. And no, it's funny.
I've literally watched some of these TikToks because Brittany, her false idol is TikTok in the morning. But
I am who I am.
She does it before scripture reading. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I'm just kidding with you, babe.
What's scripture reading? No, I'm kidding.
That's funny. So anyway, you need to look up these girls that are like hiding the iPhone around the corner as they have a conversation with their husbands or with their boyfriends or whatever, saying, man, Taylor Swift is such a good person for like putting this football player on the map, like, you know, like, cause he was a nobody before. And then like, there was this one guy in an army suit. He had like just come home from on base. Yeah. It's like, no, he's the greatest kind of, no, everything you just said was like the stupidest thing I've ever heard you say in our marriage. Like, never say anything like that again. Like, this idea that a guy can't be famous outside of Taylor Swift really seemed to just like rub some dudes wrong. And it was really, really funny. That, and how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Have your wives asked you that question yet?
I think about the Roman Empire regularly, actually.
Many
times. I'm teaching seminary, and it's about the New Testament and Paul, so we pretty much talk about it every day.
There was a meme where they would say, this is a picture of girls' faces, one when we said hello, and the second one after we called her beautiful. And we'd show them straight, and then show them smiling, and then smiling, and then it said, and here's pictures of men. Once when we said hello, and after we asked them about the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, oh yeah, you want to talk about that? Great.
Oh, dude, that's pretty funny, man.
So, I can't believe that's a real thing. I thought
men
were just making it up. Dang.
Well, no, because how much of our nomenclature is based off the Roman Empire? Like,
oh boy, here we go.
I don't know what nomenclature is, but I'm sure.
Here goes.
Look, I married you for your hearts, not your brains.
Yeah.
But I'm just kidding.
Well,
but the
plot twist, I've got both.
Oh, boom shakalaka. It's about to go down. Anyway, the term like bread and circuses, Pax Romana. You've even just basic titles that we give military folk. Like, for example, the centurions. All right. I, as a young man, growing up, we would play high school nearby that was named the Centurions. Like, I mean, there's so much aspects of all roads lead to Rome. Like, how many phrases do we have that just reference the Roman Empire? Like, oh, we're going to fight it out. Like, yeah, when in Rome, the Colosseum. It's just part of dude thinking, I think.
Well, and like what's our favorite movie for like a good majority of us, or at least in our top 3? Gladiator, obviously.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Hey, well, did you see that Napoleon's coming out from the same director? Are you stoked on that one? Because did you guys remember Cody the Oracle? Who is my assistant Cody the Oracle? Yeah.
Yeah, cool dude.
His favorite character of all time. Like, this guy thinks about this dude more often than the Roman Empire, but it's Napoleon. And I'm actually planning a brocation, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm hoping Brittany will come along, but she doesn't seem too interested.
I'll hang out with you and Cody. I love Cody.
Yeah, he's pretty rad. But we want to actually go tour all the battle sites in Europe where Napoleon fought. And what's interesting is a lot of them are way off the beaten path. Like, they're fought in the mountains around some city that only has like 2,000 people to this day. And like, one of the most decisive battles of Western history was fought like next to the highway on some French village that like nobody goes to because it's 80 kilometers literally out of the way of anything. And we're going to go visit those battle sites. And who knows, maybe we might find one of his pins that fell off his Napoleonic hat.
While, my friends do when we go on a brocation.
What?
Is we drive way off into the mountains. We get into a cabin and all the women are gone. We get out a VHS, we put it in, and we watch movies about the Roman Empire.
That's funny.
That doesn't sound fun.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, actually, have you seen those memes about like where the girl starts out and she says, what would men do if all the women just disappeared? And then it shows like the guys like skating down on homemade soapbox derby cars down the center of Main Street, just doing something wild. Those are some of my favorite memes, and they are quite hilarious.
Okay,
so a couple things from the chat.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Harbison said that she wants to steal my idea with a tent facing General Conference. This is a trademarked idea, Elizabeth, and you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law if I catch you facing your temple towards General Conference. Okay, just want to establish that right now.
Okay.
Word Radio, we have eyes everywhere. Don't even think about it, Elizabeth.
Okay.
Also, a girl 22 says, wasn't there a talk about if you don't get married, you don't go to Celestial Kingdom? Now, that would be interesting to talk about, but more interesting is that Artie Tate responded to her saying, well, hey, a girl, where do you live? Let's solve this problem for both of us. That is the best chat I have ever seen.
Ward Radio. This ward is not the singles ward, guys. So just save that for the singles ward radio.
It can be. It can be. Hey, think of the like-mindedness. There's a Sheila listening to this, and there's a bro listening to this. These are like-minded people. These are the type of people that need to get together.
Okay, so
Artie, you're smart.
I was gonna say we don't. We're actually running low on time.
Sure, we have super chats to get.
Oh, well, hit the super chats, and then we've got 2 more pictures. You got the Elmo picture, and then I've got the probability of whose prophet picture.
Real quick.
Yeah.
There were 2 talks that actually answered that in the affirmative. Just so we know, just to reinforce Doctrine and Covenants section 131. Yes, to receive exaltation, you must be married. That is a doctrine of the church.
So Artie. Get on it, brother. Get on it. Oh, also, just FYI, and this is a small thing that I thought Jacob Hansen might like. Did anybody catch which section of the Doctrine and Covenants Russell M. Nelson quoted in conference?
132.
Ooh, do you think that was a smackdown?
Oh, snap.
Do you think that was a little bit like, we got our eye on you?
Could have been a little.
We got our eye on you, polygamy deniers. Do you think that's what was going on, or what?
Could have been a little smackdown. Thought Jacob would like that.
There were a bunch of talks in this one that I was kind of like, ooh, some of the people I talked to aren't going to like these talks.
So good.
But I was avoiding thinking about
one?
that.
Like,
I was
which
trying to think about what can I take from this talk and apply in my life.
I was just thinking about the Roman Empire.
And I actually had multiple things that came out of this conference that came to me that I personally thought, I need to be better about this thing.
Well, let's read the
Don't
super
think I was
chats.
sitting there listening to the conference thinking about everybody else. I came away from conference wanting to repent.
Okay, cool.
I came away from conference thinking you should repent too.
Yeah. so read the super chats, babe, and then we'll.
Did we already say Brian Bacon's? He said Waddell was definitely scolding Midnight Mormon Celestial Kingdom members. LOL.
Oh snap! That actually, you've done something right if you get scolded from the pulpit. Yeah. I used to throw parties when I was at BYU, and I knew I'd made it, and we were in the zeitgeist, and that the parties were popular. When I started hearing people getting up on the pulpit and preaching against them. Now, of course, there were strawman arguments like, oh, if they're serving alcohol over at the Hollywood house parties, you shouldn't be there. We never served alcohol. It was, they were completely dry parties. We were sponsored by IBC root beer, and they gave us 2 palletfuls of IBC root beer, which was indeed good, and everybody that came got it for free. We also had some fun themed events in which people came and donated love sacks and donated all kinds of different things that the raffle people got, and had a giant mechanical bull at one of them. And whoever could last the longest got one of those awards, and so on and so forth. It was a pretty fun event. But, I knew when strawmen of my parties were getting preached at against the pulpit at BYU, that's when I knew that I'd made it, So... There'll be, maybe there's some truth to that in Mormonism. Hopefully I never have to get a talk against me from the pulpit in conference. Maybe you haven't made it if you've gone that far. You know what I'm saying? But local leadership, sure, that's good. So anyway, this is a joke, by the way, people. It's a joke.
Perfectly serious. Totally serious,
anyway,
people.
What were your... I steamrolled over somebody. Oh yeah, what is this last award? This last picture?
We have more super chats too.
Oh,
do you
super chats. Hit the super chats, and then we're gonna pull up this last award.
Okay, Jacob Mayberry says, "Did y'all watch Bednar's Q&A at the Silicon Slopes conference?"
I did just before coming on this live stream.
Oh snap!
I didn't see it.
Do tell.
How was it?
It was really good. It was just kind of a frank conversation. It was kind of cool to see Elder Bednar in a quote unquote secular context, but still very much testifying of the church, defending the church use of tithing money, giving really good explanations to that. Also just talking about the logistics of running the church on a global scale. And everyone should watch it. There's so much in it that it's hard to summarize here in 30 seconds, but it was really good. So people should check that out.
Well, then summarize it in 60. I mean, what did the secular heathenists, or no, the heathen secularists want? Well,
it wasn't. It was. I think it was the owner of the Utah Jazz was interviewing him at this technology conference.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the questions weren't like super hardball questions, but he talked a lot about his own history.
It's Silicon Slopes, not Silicon Valley. Oh, it's the whole Lehigh, like we're San Francisco in the 1990s thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like that. That's what it was. And so, but regardless, it was good, and it was interesting to see him talk more freely about kind of his life story. I didn't realize he worked super closely with Sam Walton of Walmart. Like,
really?
Oh,
knows him like personally. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, worked real close with him, putting together a training program for the Walmart like leadership, and like back in the day before he was at Rick's College or took over and made BYU Idaho.
So basically, he founded Walmart. David and Bednar founded
and
Walmart. You heard it here, people.
And Elder Bednar was like, he was like, I was loving it. Like he like had the best gig ever, and was like teaching at organizational management, or not organizational behavior. I think it is. He was teaching it in Arkansas, and he was running this program for Walmart to train their leadership staff. And so it was like everything was going good. And all of a sudden he gets a call from Elder Eyring that's like, "Hey, do you want to take over Rick's College?" And he's like, and he was thinking in his head, like, why the heck would I do that? And he's like, sure.
Wow.
And then he ended up becoming the president of Rick's College, and eventually called to the apostle. And he was really good friends with Elder Hales, and him used to go golf all the time, and he gave some great stories. So it was just like if you want to just learn about Elder Bednar's story in a very like not scripted churchy context of him just kind of talking like in a long form podcast type interview, like you should check it out. So check out Elder Bednar Silicon Slopes on YouTube.
Okay.
That actually happened with Kim B. Clark, who was the president of Harvard Business School. My brother was there when Kim B. Clark got called to move to Rexburg, Idaho, and become president of BYU Idaho.
I was was there
and
too.
and people knew that my brother was a member of the church, and so they're like, this is totally a cult. Like, nobody would leave HBS to go to Podunkville, Idaho. Like, what's going on? Like, does he have to do this or he'll be killed or something? My brother's like, no, he's excited to do this. He wants to do this. And they're like, no, that can't be possible. Like, he's a president of HBS and he's going to go to BYU, Idaho. This doesn't make any sense. They were totally convinced that it was under penalty of death or something. But Kim Clark was super excited to go.
And that's what he talks about in the interview to some extent. He says none of this should work in the church. He says, like, everything he's learned about organizational management and incentives and all this stuff, he's like, this shouldn't work what the church is doing, where you have millions of people just voluntarily like making all this stuff happen. But he makes the point,
I thought you meant an
out.
older generation shirking its responsibility to continue all of the good programs and services to the next generation, and instead contenting itself with managed decline.
We almost
as the
got
people
through
at the
one
bottom
live
of the
stream.
totem pole have to fend for themselves while the ivory tower polishes its windows. But yeah, no, I thought you were talking about that. It shouldn't work, but the underclass bolstering the over. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, guess what? We have another super chat. You ready?
Okay, hit it. What?
John Hammer says, Ward Radio, great show tonight. I appreciate you all very much.
Oh,
We appreciate you.
What a stud. All right, and then there's other super chats. Stephen Diamond just hit us up. Babe.
He said, instead of the Roman Empire, I thought about the priesthood restoration site and temple rocks. Just need you guys out here to think like me.
Yeah, dude, that was
well,
a
dude,
good
you
one.
almost got me sold with some fried chicken.
Yeah, for real.
If we had a stream all about the priesthood restoration site, do you think we would get Stephen Diamond to go broke?
Yeah.
If we spent an hour, just an hour, all on priesthood restoration site, do you think he would just run out of money? Just like, what would he do? Just constant super chats.
I
Wonder
love
that,
it though.
wonder that.
No, but actually, we want to do a Ward Radio
Field trip.
Yeah, well, kind of like a church history tour where we make a really solid set of 5 or 6 videos, hitting up all these different places. We might have to do it. It's kind of hard because Nauvoo is so muggy in the summer. You either kind of want to do it spring where it's a little bit tolerable, or else you want to do it fall when it's not so bad but not cold yet. You know, we're going to have to figure out exactly when we do it. You don't want to do it in winter, man, because nothing down that polar vortex corridor is worth touching in the month of January or February, right?
Ward activity. That sounds like a great ward activity.
That's
Ward
what I'm
activity.
talking about. You
Like
know?
what Elder Gong said about more ward activities. I liked that talk, Elder Gong.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
dude. Oh, well, what was your favorite, babe? What was your favorite talk of all of them? We've got Jonah. We've got Jacob. But what about Brittany the Shadow? Is there anything that spoke to you? Was it Emily Bell Freeman? Because, oh my gosh,
I liked her
EBF is
talk.
talking.
I liked her
EBF is
talk.
talking.
I don't know. I liked a lot of talks, but probably the most that I think about is probably the Think Celestial. And I don't know if that's just like a cool tagline, so that's stuck in my mind. But no, I really liked what the prophet had to say.
Okay,
One of my
cool.
favorite.
What made you dig the Think Celestial thing? Just because you did say in the live stream before before we did this conference live stream, hey, people in the chat, they need to elevate their vibe. What did you say? It was
You need to well,
raise your vibe. What was the
no,
term?
it's reach
Raise-
for like a higher vibe, like a higher energy, like vibrate higher, have better
There were a ton of
energy.
antis. There
There's
were a bunch
a
of
lot of
antis in the
antis.
chat. Yeah.
Honestly, they were just annoying the crap out of me.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
true. Well, you handled it very well. I would not have handled it so well. But
That's because I focus on my energy.
and you
Because she
think
vibes.
celestial.
She
I
vibes
vibe
higher.
Yeah.
You vibe higher. Should
Yes.
we bridge the gap between the two and start making T-shirts that say "Vibe Celestial"? And you know what I'm saying? And
there you go.
and we'll send one to Russell M. Nelson, along with the golden, the guy that in not Koreatown, but down in Hollywood, the Korean street artist guy that made the golden face of Russell M. Nelson. You remember that?
Oh, I do. Yeah, the bust of him, right?
Oh wait, I'm gonna grab it for you. Yeah, right here. There's our bust of Russell M. Nelson, made by a Korean street artist in Los Angeles. I want to send it to him still. Boom,
Dude, you have so
shakalaka.
many. You have so many cool like artifacts and like
Look at that
swag. You need to like
Whoa!
display it behind you or something, Carden. You've got so much cool stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one. So anyway, hey guys, we're wrapping up here in the next 5 minutes. This is a fun short stream, just doing a little conference recap, going over the best memes that we've seen since conference came out. If you have any last questions you want us to read, any last statements you want to make, just hit us up. Give us a super chat. Before you go anywhere, make sure, please, that you like this stream. It helps all the algorithms tell people that, hey, these guys are worth watching. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet in these last 5 minutes, just, share the stream with your friends. Stephen Diamond, one last super chat from Stephen Diamond. Keepress of the chats. What did Stephen Diamond say? Brittany the Shadow.
He says, if you do a live stream, you need to have me on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're going to make a video dedicated to you, dog. You know what I'm saying? Also, guess who has been contacted? And I'll have to tell you this later. I don't know if this is out yet, but
can you careful?
Oh, you tease.
What's it called? Yeah, no, it's pretty funny. Also, we're gonna have to go up north. I've got 3 or 4 people. Ooh. Oh, we got to go visit him too. We're gonna have to sooner or later. I think we should start having events where we can meet some of these people in person. I think that would actually be super fun, and we can start calling them ward activities.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Which I thought would be kind of cool. And if we did though, like, where would we go? Because we don't want to just hit Utah. We want to do it's a major population center. Of course, we'd probably have a lot of fans there, and that would be worth going, right? But wouldn't it be kind of fun, like
Vegas? Oh, the irony.
Yeah, that would be. But also, there's a prophecy. I might as well just say it. Okay, I've been figuring out in my mind how I can say this. But apparently, I got to find more details. But I have a fan that I've been a fan of the show that we've been communicating with, that's emailed me, and lives in, it's North or South Carolina, I can't remember, but it's very interesting. Apparently Irene went there like 5 years ago or 10 years ago and made some kind of apostolic prophecy that it would grow a ton, and he said, I really liked your episode on debunking Mormon Trivial, because he's like, dude, we're blowing up here in like North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he's like, you wouldn't think it because it's off the beaten path and it's not the usual, it's not Utah, Idaho, Arizona. But he's like, yeah, dude, we're blowing up here. It's growing both baptismally, both with members moving. And he's like, man, I feel like it's a fulfillment of Irene's prophecy that they told us about when we moved here. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. I dig that. Local lore, I'm always down. So anyway, keepers of the chats, hit these last couple of super chats.
Okay. Let's see. Cleopatra 923 says, Jacob, what talks were you worried about your friends' reactions?
Ooh,
friends or family?
So basically the ones that reinforced our doctrines around the family. So those were reinforced in multiple talks. Elder Oaks obviously hit very, very hard on both gender and marriage. Elder Bednar talked about having children as a duty. A duty to God.
Dude, I love that one. I was like,
yeah.
Hardcore. The respect he gave to people that are having their children and recognizing it's like, that's my duty to God. We love our children and stuff like that, but also it's like a duty to your society. It's a duty to everything about your essence as a human being. It's your duty to humanity, and God loves humanity. Therefore, it's also a duty to God. Like that was hardcore. I totally dug that. I respected that. Keep going.
Yep. President Nelson reinforced the doctrine of the family. Elder Christofferson reinforced the doctrine on the family. I mean, it was just like over and over and over to the point that it was like,
what reactions
guys,
were you afraid of? Would they just start screeching, just going, proclamation of the family?
We actually have, we captured the very moment that Jim Bennett was watching Dallin H. Oaks' talk. We have it in the Discord. Yeah. We have a screen cap of when he was watching Dallin H. Oaks' talk. Yeah, we have it in the Discord. It's the first thing.
Oh, is this a groaner? Right, is this going to be a groaner on my boy Jim?
This is live. We're just reporting. Just the facts, Carter.
Just reporting his reaction.
Which one is this? Which one is this?
Just look for the one with a lot of red in it and Elder Oaks in the thing, a little higher up.
Is this the Elmo one?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to find it. This was what? I'm trying to help you make your joke land, even though I don't even know if I'm gonna like the punchline or not. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so redo your joke. I've got it lined up now.
we got a screen cap of Jim Bennett watching conference, and this is actually a snapshot of Jim Bennett's reaction to Dallin H. Oaks' talk on the proclamation.
Okay, I confess I don't get it. It's Elmo looking up at Dallin H. Oaks.
It's because he's dropping a bomb.
It's a mushroom cloud.
Bomb that's about to eviscerate him.
it.
Oh my goodness! Way to ruin the joke, Cardin.
Dude, I'd never seen that meme before. Like, I didn't recognize. Okay, everybody in the chat, did you guys get this? They're
all
dogging
got
on my poor boy
Please.
Jim.
Everybody in the chat,
My poor
please.
boy
Everybody
Jim.
got it.
I love my boy Jim. What?
Could I hit on something else though where I was worried for a moment?
Okay, what?
Okay, I was worried. So Emily Bell Freeman got up and she started to give her talk talking about the Jesus path in Jerusalem. Now, on her Instagram panel, I thought she said something that was full on false, or on her Instagram channel or profile. She made a little Instagram reel talking about the straight and narrow path. And she was talking about this Jesus path. And she was saying how the path was narrow. But then she said, and people can check this out if I'm wrong, but it was troublesome to me because she said on Instagram that this straight and narrow path, maybe the reason that it's narrow is because we have made it too narrow and we need to essentially widen the path to include more people. And I was like,
I could see Jacob on his couch just going,
just like, oh. And then, but then in conference, she got up and she started talking about the Jesus path. And I was like, oh no. Like, is she going to say we need to like broaden the straight and narrow path? Like, does she not realize like the broad way is literally something that we're warned against in scripture? Like, there's a difference between the narrow way and the broad way. And when she's talking about widening the path, it's like, oh, hold on. She didn't in general conference. I thought her talk was well done, but that was something that I was like, oh no, she's talking about.
You
the
know
path.
what's crazy is I'm going to put this
there.
on the screen. I just looked at her like third picture and she says, these are my good friends, Tamara Runia and Andrea Munoz Spanos. That sister right there is Sister Spanos from my mission in Argentina, in Buenos Aires North.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
I served in their home ward.
Cool.
That woman there is full-blown Argentine. Oh, she is the epitome of elegance. Just tall, slender, beautiful, wore these lovely dresses, was just an absolute class act, and actually went with me on a couple of discussions. There was some really lovely sisters that got baptized, and she went on a couple of those in the investigator discussions with us. There was a sister from Paraguay specifically that I remember. And sister, it's funny because they all say Espanos. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to put the E in front of the S. But yeah, it was, they were a really wealthy couple in a super nice neighborhood with Kaufman and Broad homes. That was really funny. You like go into this gated community. It's like Kaufman and Broad. It's like there's like 50 of these in Orange County. You know what I'm saying? But it was yeah, it was super cool. Wow, so she's besties with an Argentine.
I want to be friends with them.
You want to be friends with them?
I like Emily Bell Freeman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is she on your woke danger list?
No.
Jacob? No, she's not.
I would say this. I'm a little concerned about
he's checking his list.
No, I'm not saying that she doesn't. She doesn't have wonderful things to say. Here's where I had an issue.
It's like the human rights campaign. These are the people you can buy from. These are the people.
Here's the thing that worries me, that has me a little bit troubled. Okay, if you go watch there are certain scriptures that talk about homosexual behavior and sexual immorality, right?
Okay.
And if you go and look at her Come Follow Me series, in every single one of the chapters that they cover that have those scriptures in them, they don't talk about them. And then
also,
when they did their episode on the Proclamation of the Family,
yeah, there was a controversy where she like on the episode that was supposed to cover the Proclamation of the Family, didn't she just like basically skip it or something? What was the deal?
No, it wasn't that they skipped it, but like they literally touched on none of the stuff that like Elder Oaks talked about. It was literally about like the pioneers and like doing good activities with your family. Like it was like all the stuff that everyone loves, and they didn't touch on any of the actual like meaningful doctrine in the Family Proclamation. And then you know, when you couple that with her Instagram page and she's there with Charlie Bird, and it's like, you're just so wonderful, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I'm just getting the vibe here. And then it's like, well, we need to broaden the path.
Well, were you getting woke vibes, or you just
all these things up? And it's like, I'm getting a little bit like, I mean, what do you feel about the Family Proclamation? Are you like ashamed of it?
Like, were you getting woke vibes, or were you just getting kind of mushy vibes? Like, because that's
I don't
two
want to say
different
I don't know
things.
enough. I don't know enough to make a judgment. I just know that I've seen some things that make me go, ooh, like I hope she has a testimony of these things because they're kind of central. And Elder Oaks is literally out there saying that the family proclamation is like the test of our generation. And so I hope that our general authorities and general officers of the church are people who are going to pass that test. And I just haven't seen her boldly defend the number one doctrine that's being attacked currently in our culture.
You know, that's interesting. You know, being able to say, I've never seen her defend the number one doctrine that is being attacked. I think that is a fair rubric. Okay.
Well, worse than that. I've seen her when literally you're giving the episode on the family proclamation, avoid it. It's one thing to just say, oh, I've never heard him say anything. It's another thing to say, oh, we're discussing, Romans 1 today. I think it's Romans 1 that talks about these things. And we're just going to skip over the most controversial part of those things because I don't want to touch this issue. And that's troublesome to me.
Well, I do have to tell you, first off, how dare you go after Emily Bell Freeman for two reasons. First off, she is a general officer of the church, and thou shalt not go after them.
Not.
And second
off,
more importantly, she is an influencer who has 169,000 followers on Instagram. And in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we do influencers. We just had to give an entire talk about stopping worshiping influencers. Right after we put one on the stand, most likely for being an influencer.
It's not she's a really good teacher. And
but come on. It was because of her massive following that she garnered in less than a year over the internet on the whole come follow me thing.
She is, and hold on.
That's what put her on the map.
Do they call men?
Let me defend her. Let me defend her since I'm
Did I just throw a hand grenade into this?
I think
this is a roller coaster.
I worry about maybe some of her positions next to how she feels about the proclamation of the family. However, I will say this. She's a great teacher. I think she has some absolutely brilliant insights about the scripture. She's very charismatic. She connects with a lot of women in the church, and those are all wonderful things. Just because I have some concerns about one particular issue and her willingness to defend it. Now, granted, it's an important issue, but doesn't mean that I throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I sustain her in that position. But I do have, just like with any leader, like you might have some concerns about Elder Uchtdorf's donations. I might have some concerns about Emily Bell Freeman's feelings about the proclamation on the family and if homosexual behavior is indeed sinful.
Yeah. So, audience, we did not expect this to turn into a full-throated public denunciation of Emily Bell Freeman from Jacob Hansen. You heard it here. Full on throwing the gauntlet
your stake
down,
president is calling you
for her
in.
excommunication. Jacob Hansen, right here. No one was expecting this, guys. We're just as surprised as you are.
Dude, that's funny. Although I do give her credit. Her Instagram profile, she has all of the color-coded filters. Every single one of her pictures has the same color balance. So it's a very, very good-looking Instagram profile. She's actually put a lot of hard work into this.
She knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. Like, she knows how to do this kind of like play in the ball field that we're all playing in.
Wow, she is besties
That's
with
a good thing.
Spanhouse. Look at that. There's another one.
Well, they're in the presidency
cool.
together, Cardin.
Oh, is that why?
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know my young
They're
women's
in the young
presidency.
women. It's a general young women presidency, right?
Ah, that's
Those
cool,
three?
man. That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure.
Is that what it is? Let me see.
I'm pretty sure.
And you probably want your young women's president to know Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Which,
That's
by the
point.
way, I found out this pathetic stat today. All right. So we've been trying to chase down a certain speaker who is interested in coming on our show, but has an official title with the church that apparently prohibits him from doing so. And it's from a part of our church. Like, this blew my mind when I found it out today. The young men's presidency has no social media profile. It's the only organization in the church that still lacks social media. The young men's. I couldn't believe that when I heard it, but I was like,
Why
snap.
not? Because out of choice or?
I don't know, but dude, church office building, if you're listening, I'll set you up on Instagram for free.
If they're pulling influencers that have a pull for young men or for young women, I got a feeling Carden might have a call coming.
Dude, yeah, right. Like they'd ever want to talk. Dude,
you're being self-deprecating again. It's annoying.
Okay, but babe, look. When I was in my mission, there was a color-coded, locked little felt board that all the missionaries had their little missionary shot on, and where they served in. It was the transfer board. Okay? And if you were a good missionary, you had a green dot. If you're a bad missionary, you had an orange or a red dot. All right? You know? And if you were a bogus missionary, you had to get teamed up with a good one, so hopefully you wouldn't do bogus or lazy or bum stuff, right? You know? And I just know that, you know, up at the church office building where they got their like little sheet mentally, you know, that Carden Ellis is not on the top of that. We're about to call him into the red chair.
Oh,
you know, they're like, well, what was this guy saying? You know, see, this is why we got you.
way.
You guys legitimize us. You know what I'm saying? Because here, look, we used to have a place. Guys like me used to have a place in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints back when there was a Boy Scout program, because they pigeonhole us with our fun, you know, motorcycles and our boats and our affinity for the outdoors and camping and the fun, loud, hoorah, let's go, I don't know, cliff diving vibe. You know, they'd be like, okay, cool. There's a spot for you. But now they would pigeonhole us for 25 years as the, you know, the scout leaders. But now they got rid of scouts. What guys like me, it's kind of like, well, what do we do? What do the loud guys do? There's no more scouting program. So it's kind of
Podcasting.
Podcasting, I guess.
That's the replacement program, podcasting.
Well, dude, I want to freaking give a shout out to Span House, man. She's freaking rad. I really liked her. She was cool. And they made good dinners too.
So there's one other part of the stream that I just can't help but a part of the conference that I just can't help but mention.
Yeah, what?
So I tell people I'm from Portland, Oregon. I'm actually not from Portland, Oregon. I was born and raised in Vancouver, Washington, which is right across the river.
Oh, yeah!
In Portland, Oregon. And my city is getting its own temple.
Boom.
Huzzah. Hurrah for Israel.
I'm flipping out.
Okay, yeah, we need to bring that up. Okay, actually, there was a super chat about this. Hold on.
Well, catch us up on the super chats, babe. And while you're thinking about that, how was your boy that came on? What was your boy's name again? It was Martinich. It was
Martinich. Oh, that's right. So
That's
Matt
the super
Martinich
chat.
from ldschurchgrowth.blogspot.com was on a stream just 4 days ago or so, people. And I'm sure you all saw that stream, but none of you missed that stream.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a good stream.
So if you missed that stream, you're going to have to go back and watch it. But Matt Martinich has the inside track. He's a data dude. He's a data statistician dude. And he looks at all the church growth data and migration data, and he makes predictions as to where temples are going to be built. And of his 10 predictions that he gave us, 4 of them came up correct. He predicted 4 of them correctly, where the church is going to build.
Think about it. He's batting 400.
That's pretty good stats.
That's
pretty
pretty
good.
killer.
For predicting temples, pretty darn good.
And he
did not predict Vancouver, Washington, which is my hometown.
Boom. So are you going to be there? Hey, you know what we should do? We should do a special episode of that dedication and a tour through it. I can get that
All
FM
over it.
98.1 guys to go on up there. Catch us up on the super chats, babe. What are they saying in the super chats?
Okay, I gotta see where we left off.
It's always good.
Okay. Polynikes 2000. Jacob Hansen, what is our status report on our potential new members, Jordan Peterson and the other Red Pill community influencers?
Oh, what? So that was kind of a complex question. Could you? What was that question again, babe?
What is our status report on our potential new members, Jordan Peterson and the other Red Pill community influencers?
Yeah, Jordan Peterson. Yeah, he kind of needs to be Mormon. He's basically giving conference talks every time he writes a book on like make your bed. It determines your day. Jocko Willenick, but just with a better accent, you know.
On my channel, Thoughtful Faith, everybody check it out. Quick plug. I drop episodes that I call Jordan Peterson teaches elders quorum. And I literally just interlace the things that he's saying with things that our scriptures say. And like, not even like just general Christian stuff, but like specifically Latter-day Saint type doctrines that he's just like full on discovering and proclaiming to the world. And I'm just sitting there like, heard it first from the Book of Mormon, bro.
Dude,
like,
I gotta get Jordan Peterson on this program. I gotta work I'm down here in Los Angeles. I'm in the belly of the beast, right? So there are a lot of actual I don't even call myself necessarily conservative in that regard, right? But not woke scolds, okay, here that fight against the woke system. And I made a lot of friends amongst the Republicans and the conservatives in Los Angeles and so on and so forth. A lot of PragerU guys, some Daily Wire dudes and so on and so forth. I should try and work those connections. So next time Jordan Peterson is in LA, we can get him to like come in here and we'll just like read Book of Mormon scriptures and then compare them to like talks that he's given and just be like, so did you realize this connection when you were saying this? And then we'll just give him an honorary membership. I got an honorary membership in a local church. Did I tell you that?
Which church?
You get honorary membership in a church.
Yeah. Well, it was not in my capacity as a ward radio person. It was actually in my capacity as a service technician. I'd helped them out with so many members that needed assistance that it was kind of in jest that they gave me an honorary membership in their church. So anyway, okay, let's catch us up on the super chats, and then we're in our outro. We got to wrap this up.
Okay, Brian Bacon says, how many temples on the smart dudes list? 4.
Yeah, he had 4. He crushed it.
Let's see.
Yep. Next one.
Okay, I don't know if it's Scubat or Scuba T.
That's
I don't
a
know.
good question.
We need to go back to the January 1971 Ensign philosophy, specifically the women's movement, Liberation or Deception by Thomas S. Monson. Love you guys.
Oh, that sounds saucy. I don't know what it is, but it sounds saucy.
I don't think I like it.
You don't think you like it? Oh, I'm the closest living relative to Clara Barton, the founder of the American Red Cross and one of the original suffragettes. At the same time, you've heard me many times on this program. You know, just say, hey, you know, maybe you should have point-based voting based upon, you know, every kid you have, how many employees you provide gainful employment for. Do you, you know, actually have some skin in the game? You served in the military, you have a mortgage, so on and so forth. So, you know, there's a lot of interesting things to be said about feminism after the report card of almost 100 years now, because the 18th Amendment was suffrage, right? And so
that makes women suffer.
Yeah, so that's over 100 years. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Have you guys ever seen that episode of The Man Show?
The Man Show, yeah. Fantastic.
With Adam Carolla
good.
And Jimmy Kimmel, where they literally protest women's suffrage on Ventura Boulevard in the center of Hollywood. And they're like, end women's suffering, stop suffrage now, end women's suffering, stop suffrage now. And they get all of these women to sign a petition to get rid of women's suffrage.
Pretty good.
It's so bad, but hilarious.
So the chat's very excited about getting Jordan Peterson on the show. We actually bumped Jordan Peterson because we don't need Jordan Peterson because we have Jacob Hansen.
Yeah. That's true.
Who needs Jordan Peterson?
So catch us up on the super chats, babe.
Okay,
Who else is chatting?
Daniel Hendricks just sent a super chat. Thank you.
J. Daniel. I don't know who that is yet.
Daniel. Here it is. Okay, have you talked about Daniel 12:11? Daily sacrifice taken away as temples, church being closed from the virus. 1290 from then is within a few days.
Oh, do you see this chat, Jonah, and can you decipher it?
Yeah, so what he's referring to is the prophecy that the daily sacrifices will be taken away from the people, that we won't be able to attend temples or churches. And he's talking about what if COVID comes down. Have you ever heard of the scourges? In Doctrine and Covenants, a scourge is a punishment from the state. So the state's going to stop us from going to our temples or churches as a fulfillment of Daniel's prophecy and the Doctrine and Covenants because of lockdown or something like that.
Okay.
Which there's a great episode on this on YouTube. The Garner brothers do a great breakdown of the scourges of the latter days. You can check that out on YouTube. They're LDS guys. The Garner brothers scourges. We have not hit it. But that
do we need to hit
pretty...
it? Jonah Barnes, is it an interesting topic that you think you could prep something for?
Well, the problem is that
what?
we will almost surely be demonetized if we talk about it because
Talk
it's
about
very
what, temples
political.
Temples
Well,
closing?
yeah, about the state closing our temples because of a of a certain pandemic of a
Of
No,
a
yeah,
bug.
but we got biznatch slapped down here in California. I mean, they kept us out of church for what, like almost 18 months, babe?
Yeah.
Like,
same in
dude,
Washington.
we got our butts handed to us on a
Oh, yeah.
platter here.
Oh,
And like
sure. No,
couldn't
no, I
sing.
understand.
We had to just go in there silently.
Yeah, we had to go in and like
For a
listen, like,
long,
oh
long
my gosh,
time.
dude, the priests of Baal took the W in Los Angeles. All right,
Yeah.
for a whole year and a half. Okay,
We had a member of our stake anonymously report our stake to the Washington State tip line.
Yeah.
That someone was breaking COVID restrictions.
Whoa.
And so the state calls up our stake president and says, "We're shutting you down." And the stake president's like, "Wait, whoa, 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 what, why?" Say, "We got an anonymous tip that you're not following the protocols, that you're too close together, that you're blah, 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 blah. It's going to shut them down." So this is an active member of our
Dang.
stake did this.
dude, like there's people on our
It was
board that
bad.
still won't talk to each other. There's people that are like still inactive. Like there's,
It's very
I don't know.
divisive.
I can't even start talking about this because I feel so many balls were dropped on so many different levels that oof, don't
Okay,
even get me started.
speaking-
We've got good vibes going on. Don't get me started.
Okay.
Go,
Moving
Birdie,
on to
go.
a super chat.
Yeah, move on to super chat.
Okay. Wow. Never nude. That's his username.
Oh, dude, is he talking about what was
Never
that
Nude?
show that Ron Howard was the he was the
Arrested
director
Development.
Arrested Development? Is he talking about Arrested
I don't know. I've
Development?
never seen it, but I was gonna say that's a shame.
No,
never.
there's in
Wow.
Arrested Development, apparently this is a real thing. There's people that are never nude. They're always wearing at least some piece of clothing.
Why?
And they even shower in it. And so one of the characters in Arrested Development is a never nude. And so he always wears his jean shorts.
Jean shorts.
When he's in the
So
shower. And it's really funny. I forgot the actor's name, but it's one of the most hilarious scenes when he's crying in the shower and he's all disappointed and he stands up and you realize that he's in gym shorts. Sorry, that he's in jean shorts.
Jean shorts.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. So
Okay,
never
I'm glad I
nude.
got the history because I was like, wow, that's really random. And
Yeah.
I don't know what to go with that. Okay. He says, I am sure Young Men's presidency have Fortnite and Minecraft accounts. They don't need the gram.
Oh,
Probably
that's
true.
Actually,
Probably
we're
true.
Gonna, we're gonna audit the young men's presidency really fast.
Sadly.
Because look, here we got EBF, who's so hip with the chicks that she's straight up got her own. She's like RGB, RBG, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's got her own acronym. She's EBF, and if you look at her Instagram profile, like you said, Jacob, she knows the game. I mean, she's got the filters, colorizing every picture. She's got a good solid mix of just all kinds of different content, very scrollable, very ingestible, very enjoyable. Dare I say, likable, shareable, followable, right? So let's who's in I'm gonna do a search here for who's in the men's presidency, the young men's presidency, dog.
Yeah, Sister Emily, just go down the hall
Yeah.
and knock on the door of what Brad Wilcox is Corbett in the Young Men.
Corbett
Other
is,
Corbett.
I think.
Knock on their
Okay.
door and say, "Hey, you need some social media advice?" and hook these guys up.
Well, you know what's kind
I'm
of
on
funny?
I'm on team Apostle Corbett.
So I
First
just
black.
did.
Yeah.
Latter-day
I
Saint
just,
Apostle.
I just did
If it
a
can't be
search
Jacob
here.
Hansen or Brad Whitbeck, then it's got to be Corbett.
I did a
Corbett,
search
Corbett.
here for LDS Young Men's, and it's LDS Young Men, hashtag LDS Young Men's with only 17 posts. LDS Man DY, and then young _ men's _ president, which is an LDS memes account. You know, so yeah, there's a vacuum of digital power here that is not being addressed, that should be addressed.
Vacuum of digital power.
Yeah, so maybe EBF here needs to go down the hall in the church office building and talk to our boy. Let's look up, how's Ahmed Corbett doing here?
If you look up
Ahmed
just look
Corbett.
up the Young Men's General Presidency and put it on the screen, I think in about 2 seconds you will realize why they do not have a social media profile.
Oh, what are
savage.
you saying, Jacob?
Oh, we're
What's
gonna
that
do it.
supposed
Just
to
saying.
mean?
We're gonna
I'm
do
just
it.
saying. If I saw
LDS.
these guys, I don't think they're the three I would necessarily choose to take my to go on our next high adventure trip.
Okay, so I'm looking this up in real time. Here it is right in front of us. Young Men's
Our young
General
men's presidency should be like former Navy SEALs, like Arctic adventurers, and like somebody who's like, and like the biggest.
You don't like dudes more effeminate than Espanhouse?
CEO type. You get those three in there, dude. You're gonna get a young man.
Hey, well, Wilcox was a linebacker. Wilcox was a linebacker for the 49ers. Before he was a big deal, he came and he did a...
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, Wilcox played for the 49ers. He came and he did a...
Whoa.
Are you... Wait, are you... Is this one of those Mormon myths?
Wait, hold on.
Brad Wilcox played for the 49ers?
If I'm not... Yeah, Brad Wilcox, Brigham Young, offensive tackle. He got picked up. Yeah, he did a talk about how he was cut from the 49ers. I think it was a short career.
Jacob is impressed.
Okay. No,
I'm like blown away. Don't get me wrong. I love Brad Wilcox, and like he's given his talk on grace is great. Like I'm actually a huge Brad Wilcox fan. But the thing is that I think that he's actually pretty good. And Corbett's great too.
This is a different Brad Wilcox. There's two Brad Wilcoxes. One of them is a football player. He's a young dude, blonde dude, and he was a football player. The other is Brad R. Wilcox, elder Brad R. Wilcox.
No, but if I'm not mistaken,
and don't get me wrong, regardless of if he played football or not, I like Brad Wilcox. I just don't know that he is a young men's presidency guy. Like I said, we don't need guys.
Why? Because he's not a Navy SEAL.
We need guys who are like former Navy SEAls, Gary Vaynerchuk, and like somebody else who like can take young men and just make them be like, dude, those are like the coolest guys ever, bro. We got to be like our young men's presidency.
No, see, Brad Wilcox is so good that he's a special ops Navy SEAL that is so good you don't even know that he's a Navy SEAL. That's why he's that good that you don't even suspect it, Jacob.
Okay.
I like him. Good guys. I just have an opinion that young men want to have something they look at and are just like mind blown. You need a.
So who do you think are the tough dogs that it's believable that they? I do have to say, I think
we all thinking it right now?
You need the hardcore entrepreneur guy, right? The Gary Vaynerchuk guy.
Who's your buddy at ESPN?
You need the Jocko Willink guy.
So we need Ben Criddle up in here?
Ben Criddle, that's the guy. We need Ben Criddle in the presidency.
Ben Criddle. All right.
Am I right or am I right or am I right?
Yeah, we got to get him off the sauce though. So no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm
Maybe,
just
and then if we need wisdom, then we need.
I'm just kidding.
That
was literally just out water joke right there. Ben's my buddy. I'm not insinuating. I don't even know what the sauce means. I was just something funny that I heard in the 70s. I mean in the 80s, but I wasn't even around in the 70s. But okay, cool. So you would want Ben Criddle up in this mess. Okay, who else?
Kwaku
L. Esoteric L. Okay, Kwaku L, Ben Criddle, and who? Who would be the third one?
Tim Ballard before all this kind of stuff
came out. Oh my goodness. She went there. All my people are outside the church though. We need to, we like invite people to be like, in our young men's program.
Here's
like,
mine. Here's my top three.
Invite some people
Here's
from
my
the
top
outside.
three. Here's my top three. All right. I think Jordan Peterson would have to be up there. Okay.
Not even a member.
I'm just saying that, but we can end that.
Okay, so we can think of anyone then.
Yeah. Who would yours be? Who would yours be, babe?
Beto O'Rourke.
No.
Beto.
He skateboards, bro.
I really like RFK.
Oh, RFK. He can do a lot of push-ups.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, look, we're already in the overtime. We're about to leave. But before we go, dude, are Mormons going to vote for RFK, dog? Like, I think RFK, man.
That should be a stream. Well, you need Kwaku and Brittany on that stream.
No, we're going to do that. Like, it's already been planned 2 or 3 times. But then what happened was other stuff overshadowed it. But now, did you hear the news that came out yesterday about RFK?
Uh-oh.
Dude, looks like he's going to be launching an independent run. Which would give a huge blow to one Joseph Biden.
Don't say, did you hear the news about a Kennedy? Because I immediately think, yeah, I'm always like,
savage, man, savage. As I got his uncle's footage here in the archives, right?
Hey, you know who else needs to be in the young men's presidency? This guy just popped in my brain.
Who?
Donny Osmond.
Donny Osmond.
Solid. Solid.
Here's something
Great
I've wondered.
dude.
I'm
Here's
sorry.
something
Maybe
I've wondered
if we were
about.
in the church in like 1974, that would have been cool.
Okay,
but,
well,
like,
this
What
is-
about Brandon Flowers? There you go.
I was about to say we need some young blood in there because here's my only deal: is I don't like armchair criticism. I think it's stupid. Okay. At the same time, I think it's valuable questioning some traditions that we had and putting a question mark at the end of some of these sentences that we viewed as sacrosanct. And I do not think that the seniority-based leadership model has always served us better than any other leadership models have. And just like we have youth speakers in our sacrament meetings, why don't we have youth speakers at general conference?
They have in the past.
Really?
Yeah, Elder Holland's son spoke once in general conference.
Oh.
And they have in not too long ago they had I think it was during COVID they had a couple of youth speakers.
Okay, yeah. So it takes a worldwide pandemic in order for us to, like
they
shift
I will say though their talks
10
were
years
like,
to the left or like what?
their talks were like basically like sounded like a general authority gave it to them and was like, here, read this.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, here's the deal. A problem that I think we have, and one of my biggest frustrations, and one of the things that gave birth to this channel, all right, is the fact that I could see why a millennial or a Gen Z young man would look at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in its current state and say, I don't know if this is for me. Because I don't see a lot of people that look like me around here. And I've talked to a lot of leaders in the church, both leaders of the church big and leaders of the church small. And they all say, oh, we're worried about the youth. We're worried about the youth, right? And I always say, stop right there. I want to know if you're really worried about the youth or if you're annoyed by the youth. And they always say, like, what do you mean? And I say, because worry insinuates action. If you're worried that your house is going to flood in the next rainstorm, you will go and you will fill sandbags and you will shore up the vulnerabilities of your home. Worrying about something insinuates action if you are truly a steward of that thing. But annoyance insinuates you recognize something and you recognize an adverse outcome that you do not like, but you are not going to do anything about it. Therefore, it's not worry. You're shrouding your annoyance in a more noble word. Just like the left, the secularists and the woke scolds like stealing words and changing the meanings of words. Within the walls of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, suburbanism has stolen words too. And we like saying we're worried about the youth because we're actually annoyed that they're not staying and we don't want to lift a finger to do some of the basic low-hanging fruit things that could be done in order to keep them staying. So I tell them, I say, oh, hold on. Before you say you're worried about the youth, tell me, are you actually annoyed that they're going inactive, that there are not as many of them here? Or are you annoyed by this, or are you worried? Because if you're worried about it, I got a list of things that I think we could change that would be very easy to change. It would only require you saying yes. But if you're annoyed, you're just going to thank me for my service, say, let's talk about it sometime, and move on and keep doing business as usual, which is what we're really good at in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, especially here in North America. So this ain't no anti-Mormon rant. This is coming from a faithful temperament holding guy that wants to see the youth of the church receive the greatest blessings the gospel has to offer.
I would push back just a little bit on that though, Cardin, because the leaders that I've met, they do things, the ones who really care.
You just said
I see them going out and visiting, but here's what I think it is. I think that they are oftentimes ineffective because they don't understand the game today and they don't know how to connect with the youth. And so they just are, and this is a perennial problem that exists. And now I do think that there are people that kind of sit on the status quo and don't do much. And I do think that we could be more creative. And I think that's maybe what you're pointing at, is that we're trying to reach people in the same old ways, giving the same old talks, doing the same old things, and thinking we're going to get different results.
And when they don't pick up what we're stepping in, we get annoyed instead of worried, which insinuates change in action. And my follow-up question was when he says, oh, no, we're really worried. And I said, okay, cool. Well, riddle me this. Because he said, well, what do you think we should do? And I said, you already know the answer to that. And I said, I can give you my answers, but intuitively you have answers too. And they're like, oh, really? What? And I said, okay, when I was 14 years old, I can name 10 things right now at the drop of a hat that I could brag to my friends about. That as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I got these cool 10 things that I'm super proud about that I can brag about. And I was like, what does a 14-year-old boy have to brag to his friends about today? And I said this in 2022. It's now 2023. But I said, what does a 14-year-old boy right now, today in 2022, have to brag to his friends about and brag about his membership in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints about that gets him stoked? And he looked at me with crickets, right? And and it spoke volumes. You know what I'm saying? And you know what he did? He said, oh, yeah, well, we got to think about it. He said some other platitude and then walked off, right? So I'm like, okay, well, what I got was a platitude instead of a, you know what? They could brag about this, right? So I actually like your comment here that came in a super chat earlier where they said, like, for example, oh, they don't need an Instagram profile because they've got Fortnite and Minecraft. And to be 100% honest with you, I ask myself the question. Instagram is predominantly female. It's like 80% female accounts. It's the exact opposite of YouTube, which is 75 to 80% predominantly male. Okay. So it's a platform that's mostly for girls, by girls. I get it. Just because the Young Men's Presidency doesn't have an Instagram profile doesn't mean they're not elsewhere, but really they're not elsewhere. And a good place to start might be, I don't know, a worldwide young men's conference in Minecraft. Like, you laugh, but we have rappers throwing concerts in Minecraft. How hilarious would it be? I sent an application, all right, where I thought it would be hilarious to get a leader of the church who had a professional athletic career. I won't give away who it was. From what I understand, we've been denied access to that church leader. But I did say, wouldn't it be hilarious just to get a Mormon church leader that used to be an athlete, either in the NBA, the NFL, or the NHL or whatever, and then just like make a really fast quiz show on this program? Can you name all of these Mormon athletes? You know, and just show like pictures of different athletes.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Instagram is for the ladies, if the church young men's program had a YouTube account where they were just releasing like super rad based male oriented content that like is that we could share and like?
How
and
many
talk
young
about?
men are in the X Games this year that are doing backflips on motorcycles where the church could say, wow, look, one of our members who actually reads the Book of Mormon every day is also backflipping in the afternoons? How many young junior Olympian athletes right now could have small 5-minute segments done about them? How is there not a youth committee live stream on this platform? We're the only pro LDS live stream. Dog.
No, it wouldn't work because young men, they crave risk, danger, adventure, challenge, and it's just, you can't do it sanitized. They can detect when it's inauthentic.
No, how would that be
sanitized? No. I'm saying is that I look, I love the church. It's the kingdom of God on the earth, but our traditions and our usual safeguards that we put over everything prevents us from making a really like risky and like kind of edgy.
Well, so we
program.
have to ask ourselves: has suburbanism?
Hence why we have to do it, gentlemen.
Well, has suburbanism? Well, this is the question. The reason why Baal was so effective, Baal. Okay, the reason why Baal. Oftentimes, when you read the Old Testament, you wonder, why did the Jews keep returning to Baal? Like, why? There's like 15 times in the pride cycle of the Old Testament, they kept turning to Baal. And Baal's horrible because it results in child sacrifice and it results in, loss of treasure. It results in conquest by your enemies. It results in all of these horrible calamities. Why do they keep turning to this guy? All right. Well, because it was desirable and it made sense. Like has
cool.
But has suburbanism? No, because here's the deal. We always are good at vilifying the cool and the worldly and saying, worldly bad, Christ people are a peculiar people, stuff like that. But can suburbanism, propriety, and the desire to be non-confrontational become a false idol so golden that it is just as effective against the church from within as Baal was from without? I question whether or not suburban propriety and social norms of the 50s and 60s, garnered at a time when our society and the media was most homogeneous and wealthy, if the social norms of the 50s and 60s have not become a golden idol more powerful, unfortunately in some of these precincts, than the true worship of the one true God. Has
it's just
suburbanism
so
become the new Baal in North America? And
it's
I believe it
so
has.
Easy. It's so easy. It's so safe. It's so easy,
But
and
it's
so
not.
safe.
But it's not, because guess what? By playing it safe, you didn't end up safe, and all your kids went inactive.
It's true.
So how safe is your suburbanism? If it's
The-
not
the
a
thing
true
is,
alternative, how safe is it?
Okay, I feel like
The
this
thing
could be
is,
a whole
if,
other
when
live
you, if you
stream.
want to speak to young men, and I've been working with young men now for almost a decade in the church. Actually just sent 2 of them off on missions that I've been working with for a while, just in the last month. It's been awesome.
So cool.
But I can tell you right now, think about it. Any of us who've been young men, like Jonah hit it very well. Young men crave risk and authentic sort of adventure. Okay. Young men need to see a vision that they can believe in and want to be a part of. They want to be a part of a team. They want to be a part of a battle. They want to be a part of something. That's why they go play these video games where they're engaging in fake battle, because in the male psychology, that's what you want. Now, the thing is that will get channeled somewhere. It will either get channeled into hedonistic pursuits where they find adventure in what the world kind of tells them to pursue, or you can present to them the gospel as the greatest adventure of their lives and as the greatest battle and cause to fight. And if you can inspire young men with that vision, if you can give them that vision young, they will die for the gospel. They will cross plains for the Lord. But you got to give them that adventure and that vision, and they won't see it unless you lay it out as something that's inspiring, and that just doesn't happen.
Well, yeah.
So
okay, Jonah.
This might need to be its own. This could be 10 podcasts, because I could go on about young men all day. But we did a trek this summer, and at trek we were supposed to go this route and do like 11 miles or something, and somehow the map got mixed up and there was a private property wall fence in the way. And so we had to go around it, and it ended up being like 18 miles. Now, I thought to myself, did they plan this? Because at the end of that trek, the youth have never been more jazzed in the world. They were like, this is amazing. It wasn't a contrived obstacle. It wasn't a contrived challenge. It was a legitimate, authentic problem that only you can solve. And by the end of this thing, 18 miles, the girls were about to fall over. Half the boys were about to fall over. And it was only like those 17-year-old big brothers on trek who were pushing the last few inches to get their hand carts in. And it felt so authentic. Like this was a real problem. It wasn't contrived. Nobody made it up. This was a challenge that only you could solve. Only we could solve. And it was the most inspiring thing for these young men. They just ate it up and they loved it. And so I almost think, like, when we do these contrived challenges, like only you can, solve this problem that we made up, it just doesn't, they can detect when it's false, guys.
Well, and you talk
talk
about this detection. And by the way, I know this is going to get me in trouble.
Oh, no.
But at the same time, it's like, I cannot be honest to my authentic self, the comedic skills and observational skills God gave me, and my desire to honestly have us fix this issue if I don't bring this up. I just looked up the Young Women's General Presidency, and here they are. I just joked around. The Espanhouse is from my mission. Look at her. She's beautiful. She's lovely. She Emily Bell Freeman standing right next to her with, I don't know who this other blonde chick is, right? But when I look at this picture,
Tamara, I don't know her last name though.
You don't remember her last name, okay? But either way, as you look at this picture, you see the very embodiment of what we would generally consider, those sacred feminine attributes. You have beauty, you have kindness, you have authenticity, there's class, there's modesty. Like when we look at this, we see a very general embodiment of all of these values that we desire out of our women. Now, let's go to the dudes. And I get this is only a superficial analysis, but really, dog.
I don't see where you're going with this.
I think the average woman looking at this picture of the girls is inspired more towards the most, I'm just talking about like optics here. All right. I see these women getting inspired and falling in line behind and being obedient to orders of these women because we're leading the charge. We're embracing the feminine. We're embodying these values. But when Jonah and Jacob here talk about, boys, what are men attracted to? There's the risk, the authenticity, the strength, all of those positive masculine values. And then we pull up the young men's presidency. We do not see the same level of optically. These guys don't look like the dudes that are going to storm the Bastille. These guys don't look like the dudes I want to take orders from in World War I. These guys don't look like the dudes that, I really think like, man, get behind this guy, do what he says, and it's going to turn out right. Now, that's not to dog on these cats, but it's to say, okay, I think they kind of could use some help. And you know what's a way that could make some of these good spiritual values these guys probably embody that don't maybe come across at first glance, because whether we like it or not, it's a 2x4 rule or the 4x2 rule that 50% of your first impression comes in the first 4 seconds. The other 50% of somebody's first impression of you comes in the next 2 minutes. Okay. And I would say that the ladies are doing a better job of representing the feminine ideals than the young men's general presidency is in representing at first glance in those first 4 seconds the masculine ideals. Therefore, let's bolster them up. Let's support them as part of our sustaining of the brethren.
I think they should be younger.
Well,
I think our young men's general presidency should be in their 20s and 30s, like late 20s, early 30s.
Okay,
like,
could we get
young, inspiring guys who are out posting online their pictures of them riding dirt bikes with their buddies?
And if we don't have that and we still want to support these brethren and sustain them, just like Jim Bennett says, even sustaining them in their weakness, and optically I think that we're dealing with a weakness right now, why don't you let funner younger YouTubers do a video podcast? It took me 8 weeks to just get denied by the church media department when I requested one of the more humorous general authorities to come on the show, and they'll all remain nameless, so nobody's trying to chase these people down in the church office building. But it took me 8 weeks to get denied, and all I wanted to do was kind of like some funny trivia stuff. Like, why don't we get these guys in Minecraft? It would be hilarious to have some boomer just like trying to meander with an Xbox controller to find his way into the Minecraft chapel that has been built for the Worldwide Young Men's Conference, and just have this guy say, oh my gosh, this makes no sense. I don't see how you cats do this. Like a 20-minute live stream where we just showed some church guy in his suit, in his tie, trying to enter Minecraft and then actually have a worldwide men's youth clubs. That would be so funny, so endearing, and would compensate through humor any kind of optical lack that he had as not being your Navy SEAL type character.
But
we're prohibited from doing it
to the primary meetings. I think that if you did a primary meeting with kids in Minecraft, you'd have every primary kid there. It would be hilarious.
That's just
Okay.
Guys,
anyway.
could we get some F's in the chat for Cardin's membership in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Could we get some F's in the chat?
It gets me. It gets me in trouble. But you know what? I think they need help.
R.I.P. Rip Cardin.
And they're not.
Cardin Ellis 2023.
Who thinks I'm right? Who thinks I'm right?
I always think you're right.
Oh, good job.
Okay.
I think you have a lot of points definitely to take seriously, and I think that you're definitely onto something. And this conversation needs to happen.
Okay.
This could be. We could do 3 podcasts on this.
But false god, the false golden idol of suburban, 1950s suburbanism, where if you question current models, it means you're disloyal or whatever, has become a false god that is preventing us from prospering. So anyway, Brittany,
Okay, yeah,
you got to
we
catch
gotta-
us up on the chats.
Yeah, we gotta do super chats. I gotta get home to my kids. I want to
Yeah,
go
I
to
know.
bed. Like, let's.
Oh,
this
Brittany,
woman.
come on.
I don't mind being a party pooper. I really don't. Okay, here we go.
Babe, come on.
Chance Bunker says Wilcox came to my youth conference 2021. He the goat.
Yeah, he is really funny.
Okay,
He
I
carries
really
his
like
own weight.
I like Elder Wilcox. I do. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
okay,
yeah.
guys, this
Her
is like
brother Wilcox.
speed dating. Okay, we're doing speed super chats. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Matthew Arnold, Richmond, Missouri. Is it Missouri? MO. Actually,
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it's Missouri.
For
Motown.
an activity,
Motown.
Jackson City nearby. Okay,
All
we'll
right,
keep you
rock
in
on.
mind.
Rock on.
Tiffany Houston, Stephen J. Lund has an active social media account. So does Wilcox. Oh, so they're probably in the young men
yeah, but
presidency.
that also it's not official, and it also preceded their involvement in the young men's presidency. Brad Wilcox was actually very online before, and had even done like private firesides with other YouTube channels before being called in his official capacity. So it's just like EBF. She was very online before getting called in her official capacity. I would say that Brad Wilcox was an influencer before getting called. So keep going.
Okay, Chase Johnson. I'm gonna be honest. President Oak's talk was so good it made me wonder if he's the next one.
Oh, boom.
Well,
All right.
He is the next one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
No need to wonder.
that's
Yeah.
not a. Yeah, he is.
Okay, Tiffany Houston. You guys are more interested in hero worship than the Lord's anointed young men's presidency. LOL. I don't think so, but moving on. Okay.
Hey, but
Ben,
thanks for the super chat. If you're going to dog us with a straw man, you might as well do it with a super chat and get
Hey.
your straw man read online,
Thank you.
right? You know what I'm saying?
We'll
Okay.
pay to watch you destroy a straw man.
Yeah,
we'll
cool.
get paid
Rock
for
on.
that.
Rock on. Okay.
Ben Giles says, I'm a young men's advisor and all my ideas are shot down for being too dangerous and risky according to policy, even though the young men want to do them. So then we just have nothing burger weekly events, no power and no adventure.
I heard that they've now banned paintballing. Have you heard this? That young men are
Okay.
never allowed to go paintballing. I heard this. I don't know if it's true.
So
It's a
my
popular
friend-
story.
I've taken the young men out to play airsoft and paintball
I think.
before myself.
Are you out of your mind? Banning paint? What?
Yeah.
And apparently now, okay, my friend is young
Break the
women's
rules.
for our ward. Apparently now for the birthdays, we're not allowed to do gift cards anymore. So they were like, well, what are the kids? And they want a spiritual thought for their birthday? Like, what are we going to do? I don't know. It's weird.
These people. Okay.
Ben Giles, you keep the faith, brother. You keep
The
the faith. You
attorneys.
break the rules. Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
It's sad, but I feel like
That's the motto.
I feel like you almost have to subversively build the kingdom. Like
yeah,
it's,
dude.
it's really
I
weird.
genuinely have a theory, and this is maybe
Like-
totally wrong and terrible, but hey, I'm going to say it anyway. But sort of this idea that, I think the church kind of is like, you know what? The lawyers have told us you can't do this activity. And then they turn around and are like, we just go do it. Don't tell us.
Yeah. Yes. Great. Yeah. All right.
No, but this is what I say. This comes to the root
Hold on.
of how
we're,
I
we're
say.
slipping back in. I'm doing super chat.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
do super
Brittany.
chats.
What
Sorry.
a party pooper.
Who runs our church?
Jesus.
No, is it the priesthood being assisted by the bureaucracy, or the bureaucracy, the scribes and the lawyers? I'm sorry, I meant the insurance adjusters and the accountants. Is it that the priesthood is beholden to them, or they are beholden to the priesthood? That is my ultimate question about the power dynamics of our leadership in the modern day. Okay?
It's a constant battle.
Yeah.
Constant
So
battle.
anyway, keep going. Brittany, catch us up.
Okay, Taco Blend says, idea, young men worldwide Alma chapter battle reenactment.
Yes!
Shoot.
I think someone's seen Battle of Jershon.
Yeah, now
Ward
we're
Radio
talking.
sponsored Battle of Jershon with
Yeah.
paintball guns.
Yeah, dude, this will be awesome.
Let's do it.
Okay, minor prophet Ian Malcolm says, at the end of the day, I'd rather my son be a Brad Wilcox than a Joe Rogan any day of the week. I want a righteous priesthood holder first before a Spartan.
No, but this is the false choice. This is the false choice. Is that you think you can't be masculine and be righteous in the priesthood, that the priesthood is feminine, and
And
that's BS. It's wrong.
Yes, and I
Wrong.
think Brad Wilcox would disagree, because Brad Wilcox would be like, Joe Rogan's awesome, man. He may
Yeah.
swear
No.
more than I do, but so what? He's
This is
awesome.
this
Like,
false
be
dichotomy
like both
that
of
the
us.
world, this false dichotomy that the world has put on us to try to hyper feminize Christianity, and it's a It's not true. Dang it.
Okay,
Not true.
I'm gonna read one tweet. All right, I'm gonna read one tweet. Hey, babe, come on, be positive here. Be positive here.
10:05.
Calm
Okay,
down,
I know,
Brittany.
but we're having a good stream here. We'll be done in a second. All right. But Jeremy Boyne said something very interesting that I actually took a screenshot of, and I'm going to put it up here on the screen so everybody can see this, all right? This was recommended to me. I don't even follow him, but this is what he said that I thought was so intriguing, and I thought that it kind of applied to us here. Apparently, evangelical Christianity is struggling with it as well. But he said, evangelical Christianity has largely devolved into a women's social club. It's soft, it's friendly, it's accepting, it's anxious, it avoids confrontation. It wants to be perceived as good because it perceives itself as good. The only sin it recognizes is masculine sin. It is overrun with feminine sin, which it calls righteousness. In this way, it is essentially becoming mainline Protestantism with drums. And so I look at that and I think evangelical Christianity is largely devolved into a women's social club. Like, it's like, when have you seen, you look, even just look at our leaders, and you kind of wonder, wow, it's soft, it's friendly, it's accepting, it's anxious, it avoids confrontation, it wants to be perceived as good because it perceives itself as good. The only sin it recognizes is masculine sin. It is overrun with feminine sin, which it calls righteousness. If you constantly correct only against masculine sin, you leave a vacuum of non-correction against the feminine sin, which means you will have a drift towards femininity, and you will start confusing femininity with positive masculinity, and that's where we are right now.
But I would pump the brakes a little bit on this in the sense that I think that culturally that is an issue, 100%. But I also recognize that if you look at our doctrine and you look at the actual core of what the church is, there is a masculine story to tell.
Oh, the doctrine
100%.
Oh, of course.
100%.
And that is, and I do believe that as the brethren stick to the doctrine, and teach, like even in this conference, like I was talking about, Elder Oaks's talk, that was a very masculine energy talk. It was a law-based talk. And it gave off that sort of a vibe. Same with President Nelson. Like, he didn't mess around. He was giving a talk that was laying down the law and offended a lot of people, to be honest. And so I want to be careful. I mean, when we're dealing also with people that are as old as they are, like, there's a lack of youthful masculine energy because you have guys that are up there that are really old. And that's why
they remember back in school when PE was shotgun shooting
into the church.
Yeah, well, they think that a lot of these just generally societal avenues are going to instill that masculinity in youth, not realizing they've been completely taken out of the public education sphere. Like, literally, my kid is not allowed to play soccer during recess at his school for fear that he might fall and trip. So
you can't do headers.
You can't do headers.
They're too dangerous.
And yes, exactly. My kid's soccer league that's outside of school actually imposed that rule as well. And then so now it's like, for heaven's sakes, at my junior high, they used to bring not shotguns, but 22s to school and teach marksmanship in the field behind the school, for heaven's sakes. They were locking and loading in public schools here. Meanwhile, now you're not even allowed to do a header in soccer. So when we say, like, holy smoke, masculinity is missing within the church, people don't realize the Marines now, they're having to teach kids how to throw hand grenades. They used to never have to teach young recruits how to throw hand grenades because the proficiency of the average American in baseball was so robust and ubiquitous that everybody knew how to throw an object accurately in America. Now they don't. It's embarrassing. And yeah, like, we really need to adjust to this. But yeah, I mean, guys in their 90s don't realize how bad it's gotten down here at the bottom of the ivory tower. Finish up all these super chats. We do have to make good on our promise that we're going to go. Brittany, the keepers of the chats, hit it.
Okay, Tiffany Houston again says, I agree with you guys about young men needs, though.
Yes, thank you. If you agree with us, we will always like you. Okay, hit it.
Megan Rupp says, wouldn't it be cool if the church invested in my phone just died. In an immersive Book of Mormon video game.
Which, by the way, in the absence of leadership from the church in this aspect, we're doing that here at Ward Radio. Jonah Barnes has spoken with me often about this in multiple video games. One is a fighting game, one is a scripture mastery game, and one is a
Those
Book of Mormon
eyebrows.
game where it's going to be Escape from Jerusalem. It's actually pretty cool. We're actively developing and designing video games here at Ward Radio that are going to be pretty sick, but more on that later. Anyway, Brandon Cole says airsoft was one of the most common young man activities that we had when I was a youth and made some of my favorite memories. True. Same with us with rock climbing and rappelling, which apparently rappelling now has been outlawed. But some of the deepest friendships I made with some of my youth leaders was rappelling off of Vasquez Rocks north in LA County.
Wait, they banned it
Redwoods.
in the church?
That's what one of these chats said. He said that in their ward, rappelling and paintballing got banned. But anyway, Minor Prophet Ian Malcolm says, to bookend my other comment, I did try to come up with a program for the 8-year-olds in my ward, but it never got traction. So frustrating. I'm also talking to an interesting brother in the church. I had wanted to develop a replacement for the scouting program because the one from the church never came. And ironically, I got approached via email in our website on another brother that's developing a program as well. I won't say it, but his logo is pretty BA. It's awesome, and it's basically a modernized and hip version of the Boy Scouts that has a reduced amount of merit badges, only a couple of ranks. It's super awesome. We might get him on the show to talk about it as well. Other than that, okay. In the last minute here, guys, if you have any last super chats, please get them out of your system. We'll read them on air before we go. Hopefully there's nobody we missed. Jacob, tell them where people can find you and all about your podcast and about your heretical views on the church leaders and their political points of view that you consider verboten. No, I'm just kidding.
If you guys want to check me out, just go to YouTube and look up Thoughtful Faith, or you can go to thoughtful-faith.com. And that is my website, and you can come and listen to me rant and roll about all sorts of different topics.
Cool. Awesome. Jonah, do you have anything you want to be pubbing right now or what?
Just the Vancouver, Washington Temple.
Boom. Woo! We'll have to go out and see it.
It wasn't on the list because of the data. Matt Martinich couldn't predict it because it wasn't because of membership or migration or numbers or anything. It's just because we're more righteous up here in Vancouver. That's
okay. So 123 M Neil, last super chat of the day says, does Cardin have an hour to record an episode for the Where Will You Go podcast? ? Sorry for making you stay up one chat later. It sounds like some kind of anti-Mormon podcast. The Where
I
Will
know.
You
No,
Go
I've been on
podcast.
that podcast.
Oh, you have? That's
yeah,
funny.
I have, and she's an ex-member, but she's fair.
Okay,
and
cool.
you should go on her podcast. She's cool.
Okay, I was about going to say, well, even if it is anti, dude, I'll go on. I'll go rumble in the jungle with anybody, right? But I recognize 123 M Neil from, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm remembering our avatars in comparison to our people, I do believe I spoke with her at one of the debates, and if I'm remembering the same person, she seemed pretty cool, pretty fun. So if you want to go on that, if you want to reach out, yeah, let's talk. Depends on what the subject is. If it's boring, I don't want to go. But if it's cool, then I am all in, baby. And you know what else is funny here? I just noticed, you know what the first comment was underneath that tweet that I showed you of Jeremy Boring, where he said, it's soft, it's friendly, it's accepting, it's anxious, it avoids confrontation. First comment was this guy named Brad R. Torgerson that says, it's soft, it's friendly, it's accepting, it's anxious, it avoids confrontation, it wants to be perceived as good because it perceives itself as good. This is the LDS Church in Utah in a nutshell. I was like, oh, that's a saft. I guess I'm not the only, guess we're all suffering from it here in North America. We just got a word for it in the Book of Mormon. It's called the Pride Cycle. So anyway, yeah, dude, this was awesome, guys. It was real. It was fun. Check out Brittany. You can see her on Instagram at Boho Birdie. You know, you can always follow us here at Ward Radio Worldwide on Facebook. Ward Radio.
Congratulations to all the General Conference Talks winners this time around. We'll have more awards in April.
That's true.
Congratulations.
Yes, they're all good. So other than that, it was real and it was fun, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. As always, you can always get more information or check us out. Find us on all the socials by going to wardradio.com. Other than that, it's been real.